Chapter 80. Since Ouyang Fei and Tang Lin had already said so, could he really not agree? Shrugging his shoulders helplessly, Long Ao finally agreed. Brother Long, I will send Luo Cheng to help you when you go to the Thunder Empire to participate in the Thunder Battle. Luo Cheng, the Vice Hall Master of the National Guard Hall, was also an evolver. His position in the National Guard Hall was second only to Tang Lin. Because of this, it felt strange to say it out loud. Long Ao had only just entered the National Guard Hall, but Luo Cheng was already the Vice Hall Master. And now? Tang Lin had already said that Long Ao would be the main person in this trip to the Thunder Empire to participate in the Thunder Battle. Luo Cheng would only be a support. Of course, Long Ao would not agree to such a thing. However, Tang Lin was very firm and did not give Long Ao a chance to refute. He continued, Brother Long, the Thunder Battle will officially start in a month. Originally, we were going to set off immediately, but, Hall Master, we will set off immediately for the Thunder Empire. At this moment, Long Ao seemed like he could not wait any longer. There was a 1,000-year-old thunder fruit in the Thunder Empire. Only by obtaining this thunder fruit could he save Yuan. Although there was still a month before the thunder fruit ripened, no one knew if it would ripen ahead of time. Therefore, Long Ao did not dare to gamble. Yuan only had a year. If he lost this opportunity, he would have to wait 1,000 years. Even if he could wait, Yuan could not. Because of this, Long Ao had already told himself that no matter what danger he would encounter, no matter what happened, he would obtain the thunder fruit. All right, then let's set off immediately. Long Ao found his grandfather, Long Haosher, and said a few words before leaving Scarlet Fire Town with the others. This time, Long Ao had killed Lu Mu and Lu Ji. The Nebula Imperial family was not displeased at all. Instead, they had given the position of the city lord to Long Ao's father, Long Yi. This was a clear indication of the Nebula Imperial family's attitude. With the deterrence of the Nebula Imperial family, Long Ao knew that the Flowing Cloud sect would not dare to touch his family. It was precisely because of this that Long Ao left with peace of mind. 2 days later, everyone had returned to the Star Cloud City. The news of the Star Cloud Imperial family's National Guard Hall participating in the Thunder Empire's Battle of Thunder had spread throughout the entire Star Cloud City. No matter what, all the major families still hoped that the Star Cloud National Guard Hall would emerge victorious. This was because only when the kingdom became stronger, these so-called families could also become stronger. Inside the National Guard Hall. No, Hall Master, if you do this, I won't accept it. I believe everyone here won't accept it either. Yue almost roared in anger. Last time, he had been defeated by Long Ao, and Yue had always been brooding over it. Now, before he could even take his revenge, the Hall Master had told them that this time, in the Thunder Empire, to participate in the Thunder Battle, Long Ao had become the boss. How could he accept this? It wasn't just Yue. The other Imperial protectors all disagreed, and they were all infuriated. The 10 people who went to the Thunder Empire to participate in the Thunder Battle were Long Ao, Luo Cheng, Yue, Mao Feng, Tong Bo, Hao Jiangjun, Hao Chao, Yi Rong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan. As the Deputy Hall Master, there was no doubt that Luo Cheng would become the boss this time. But what was the result? There was another point that everyone felt unconvinced. That was, among the 10 people, Long Ao's strength was the lowest. Although he defeated Yue, what about the others? One must know that in the National Guard Hall, there were many people who were stronger than Yue. Tong Bo, the most powerful person in the National Guard Hall, also said with some dissatisfaction, Hall Master, I want to ask, what qualifications does Long Ao have to lead us to participate in the Thunder Battle? Brother Tong is right. In my opinion, Long Ao doesn't even have the qualifications to participate in the Thunder Battle. The muzzles were unanimously pointed at Long Ao. In everyone's opinion, even if Long Ao defeated Yue, he did not get everyone's approval. One by one, the National Guard did not agree with Long Ao to participate in the Thunder Battle. A one-line sky martial artist might be normal in the National Guard Hall of a small kingdom, but for the powerful Nebula Kingdom, there was no one-line sky martial artist in the entire National Guard Hall. If Long Ao participated in the Thunder Battle on behalf of the Nebula National Guard Hall, he would definitely be laughed at by the National Guard halls of other kingdoms. Tang Lin sat quietly at the head of the table. When everyone was quarreling, he suddenly said, "Everyone, calm down." As the National Guard hall master, Tang Lin's identity and strength were there. Seeing Tang Lin speak, everyone kept silent. After a glance, Tang Lin asked, "How can you accept Longao's participation in the Thunder Battle?" Although he was the National Guard hall master, Tang Lin did not suppress everyone with his identity. After all, the National Guard hall relied on unity. Even if someone left, they could do better anywhere. "Hall master, I believe you know better than us what the Thunder Battle means." "That's right. The Thunder Battle represents the kingdom's glory. If Longao participates in the Thunder Battle, won't he become a joke?" Longao, who was sitting at the side, did not say a word from beginning to end. He did not even bother to look at everyone. If it were not for Tang Lin and Ouyang Fei, he would not even participate in the Thunder Battle. It was because of Longao's disregard that everyone became angrier. But when they saw Longao's white hair, many people were surprised. After asking around, they found out about the matter between Longao and Yuan. Although they looked down on Longao, everyone admired this kind of infatuated man. How many men in this world could have their hair turn white overnight for their woman? He was dressed in black, had white hair, and a stern face. "Master, we agree that it's not difficult for Longao. As long as he can defeat Brother Hao, we will not object." Hao Chao was recognized as the top expert in the National Guard Hall other than the 3 hall masters. He was at the peak of evolution. Was it possible for Longao to defeat Hao Chao? Tang Lin was not a fool. Of course, he knew that everyone just wanted to make Longao retreat. He sighed deeply in his heart. Although he was a little unhappy, he could not force it. Otherwise, there would not be any benefits. It might even cause chaos in the National Guard Hall. "We agree with Brother Yu's suggestion. As long as Longao can defeat Brother Hao, we will not have the slightest objection. On the contrary, if Longao loses, not only will he not be able to participate in the Thunder Battle, but he will also have to withdraw from the National Guard Hall. From then on, he will not be able to step into the National Guard Hall." "Okay, I agree." Without waiting for Tang Lin to speak, Longao directly accepted the challenge because he did not want to listen anymore. He continued, "Tomorrow, outside the National Guard Hall, I will fight with Hao Chao. If I win, I hope you all will shut up." Black clothes and white hair, standing there arrogantly and indifferently, exuding a strong sense of confidence. He did not care about anyone at all. Nodding at Tang Lin, Longao turned and left. He did not put anyone in his eyes. In the blink of an eye, Longao had disappeared without a trace. Chapter 81. Just after leaving the Nebula Imperial family, Longao met Domineering, the one-armed saber monarch. Domineering already knew what happened to Longao, especially when he saw the other party's head full of white hair. He seemed a little sad. "Brother Long, are you all right?" Shaking his head, Longao said, "I'm fine. I heard that you want to represent the Nebula Protector Hall in the Thunder Empire's Thunder War." How could Longao not know what Domineering was worried about? Because of this, before Domineering could persuade him, he said, "I've already made up my mind." Looking deeply at the youth before him, Domineering naturally knew Longao's character. Once he decided on something, he would not change his mind. Thus, Domineering did not continue to persuade him. After chatting with Domineering for a while, Longao left and found an inn to stay for the time being. At night, dark clouds covered the sky. Within the inn, Longao, who was lying on the bed with his eyes closed and thinking about Yuan, suddenly opened his eyes. Killing intent surged, shooting out 2 rays of golden light. The corner of his mouth hooked up into a sneer, and he disappeared with a flip. The night was exceptionally quiet. Creak, the window was silently opened, and silhouettes shot in from outside. There were a total of 14 people, all dressed in black and masked. Each of them was surging with killing intent. Kill without mercy. The 14 people were all one-line sky cultivators. With such powerful strength, who in Nebula City could send out such a powerful force? "You're looking for me?" Seeing the sudden appearance of the youth, the 14 people were somewhat surprised. They were all stunned on the spot, not knowing how the other party discovered them. The one who kills this person will be heavily rewarded. Without waiting for the 14 people to act, Longao had already made the first move. At the same time, the snow guzzle saber in his hand also used the first move of the 8 styles of blood drinking, Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, and the second move, heart-devouring ice. A terrifying saber light ruthlessly chopped down like a meteor. Who knew if it was because Longao's speed was too fast, but some of them could not dodge in time and were directly killed by the blood-drinking saber. Killing 3 one-line sky cultivators with 1 saber strike. What kind of concept was this? The remaining 11 people were all shocked. They did not dare to fight alone. The 11 people joined hands and attacked. Their fist energy continuously overflowed like a sea, each wave stronger than the previous one. Longao did not dare to be careless. At the same time, he also silently used soul-suppressing seal. Like a death knell, ruthlessly ringing in the hearts of the 11 people. The 11 of them were given a big fright and had no idea what was going on. They looked at each other in shock and immediately circulated all of their strength to resist this terrifying corrosive power. And Longao, and Longaos, and their souls. Their souls were their souls absorbed their souls. Their soul. Their of soul. Once Long Fu refined the souls of the 14 one-line sky martial artists and devoured them, he believed that he would be able to break through to the peak of one-line sky very quickly and lay the foundation for breaking through to the evolution realm. Long Fu, help me ask who sent them. Understood, Master. After a while, Long Fu replied, Master, these people were sent by the Miao and Long families. Sure enough, Longao had already guessed that these assassins were most likely sent by the rank 5 Long family. However, he did not expect the Miao family to intervene. It seemed like the Miao and Long families had reached a tacit agreement to eliminate him. Miao family, Long family. Since you want to kill me, I won't be polite. At this moment, Longao had a real killing intent. However, he knew clearly that this was not the time to deal with the 2 families. First, he had to obtain the 1,000-year thunder fruit. Because of this, Longao did not immediately go to the 2 families for revenge. He simply dealt with the 14 corpses and then closed his eyes to rest. He was thinking about the voice in his mind. The 1,000-year thunder fruit. No matter what happens, he must obtain it. Nothing must happen to the voice. Long family. Long Ying's expression was extremely ugly, because just now, the 7 one-line sky warriors he sent out were all sent back. They had become corpses. Long Ying was not a fool. Of course, he had already guessed that the 7 of them must have been killed by Longao. Moreover, Longao did it deliberately. Long Ying had a new understanding of Longao's strength. The Miao and Long families, a total of 14 one-line sky warriors, were actually slaughtered by the opponent. What did this mean? Longao, I will not let you go. I will make you die without a burial place. Uncle, let me deal with Longao. At this time, a young man came in from outside. His cold face was filled with murderous intent. Long Ming exuded strong confidence. Even his aura had changed, like a ball of flame. You have successfully merged with the fire dragon? Nodding, Long Ming seemed to be a little excited. He said, Uncle, I have officially merged with the fire dragon. Longao is no longer my opponent. Moreover, I want to rush to the 100 battle ranking. Long Ying did not want Long Ming to show off too early. After all, becoming a dragon warrior would attract the attention of other forces, especially the high-ranking Long family. It would be very troublesome. How could Long Ming not know? However, his expression was unusually firm as he said, Uncle, if the family wants to advance to the Dragon Valley, I must continue to become stronger. However, it is useless for me to blindly cultivate in seclusion. I can only continue to gain experience. Longao is my first inner demon. If I don't kill this person, it will be difficult for my martial arts cultivation to improve. The inner demon was the biggest obstacle for a warrior. Once a warrior had an inner demon, it would be difficult for his martial arts cultivation to improve, unless he could cut off the inner demon. Long Ming had been a genius that everyone had paid attention to since he was young. However, when he met Longao, he was almost completely defeated. This also became Long Ming's inner demon. Of course, Longing knew that if Long Ming wanted to achieve higher achievements, Longao must kill him. If it was in the past, Longing would definitely not agree. However, the situation was completely different now. Long Ming had become a dragon warrior. If Long Ming and the fire dragon worked together, killing Long Ao would be a matter of minutes. Because of this, Longing nodded and said, "In that case, do as you see fit. However, it is best not to do it in Star Cloud City." As far as I know, Long Ao has already represented the National Guard Hall to participate in the Battle of Thunder in a month's time. This is your chance. Battle of Thunder? A cruel sneer slowly appeared at the corner of Long Ming's mouth. He looked at the endless void and muttered to himself in an incomparably cold voice, "Long Ao, I will let you know what a dragon martial warrior is. A dragon martial warrior is not an existence you can resist. Humph, when the time comes, I will make you kneel in front of me and beg me." Chapter 82. Nebula Imperial Family. Outside the National Guard Hall. Hao Chao, the strongest person under the 3 hall masters of the National Guard Hall. Long Ao, who had just entered the National Guard Hall less than a month and a half ago, was already at the pinnacle of one-line sky. The difference in strength between Hao Chao and Long Ao was huge. Almost everyone was leaning towards one side. They all thought that Hao Chao would win and Long Ao would lose. Yue Wei and the others looked at the young man standing proudly not far away with disdain. They all wished that Hao Chao could kill him. Even if he couldn't, humiliating Long Ao would also be a good thing. "Brother Tang, you and I know Brother Hao's strength very well. Long Ao's chance of winning is almost 0. If that's the case, why do you still agree to this?" "Your Majesty, almost everyone in the National Guard Hall is against Long Ao. If I don't agree to this, I believe that Long Ao will have a hard time in the National Guard Hall. Not to mention, the Thunder Battle is about to begin. I don't want to complicate things." Ouyang Feng sighed deeply. He wasn't a fool. The reason why these people in the National Guard Hall were against Long Ao was nothing more than jealousy and hatred. Hao Chao and Long Ao stood face to face. Both of them were emitting a strong battle intent. "Brother Long, no matter who wins or loses in our battle, I admire you very much." "Thank you." Seeing the other party's grave and stern face, Hao Chao did not continue to say anything. Long Ao stood there quietly. He was dressed in black, had a head of white hair, and was aloof and stern. Everything that was originally incompatible was perfectly displayed by Long Ao. "Please." Hao Chao took a step forward and rushed out. As a pinnacle evolution expert, Hao Chao had already completed 108 cycles of evolution. He was only one step away from officially entering the fusion stage. Hao Chao's strength was self-evident. When he attacked, it was like a thunderbolt striking out from the blue. He didn't dare to be careless. Since Yu Yin's incident, Long Ao seemed to have changed. He became somewhat indifferent. Even his strength had improved. Although he hadn't reached the pinnacle of one-line sky, he wasn't far from it. He did not use the blood-sucking wild blade because he had a good impression of Hao Chao. This battle was just a simple exchange of pointers. He punched out with both fists, using the first style of blood-drinking 8 styles, Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes, and Frozen Heart Devouring. The two instantly engaged in a fierce battle. In the blink of an eye, 3 rounds had passed, and the victor was still undecided. Long Ao lasted 3 rounds? Looking at the battle between Long Ao and Hao Chao, everyone was a little moved, because what happened to Long Ao seemed to have exceeded their understanding. "Impossible. This is impossible. Brother Hao, how could you lose to a piece of trash?" Before Yue Wei could finish his words, he felt a cold, murderous aura enveloping him in an instant, causing him to shiver. Black clothes, white hair, and cold eyes. Long Ao coldly looked at Yue Wei. His voice seemed to come from the depths of hell as he said, "If you dare to act lowly again, I will kill you without mercy." Long Ao's strength had completely scared Yue Wei silly. The words that were already at the tip of his tongue were forcibly swallowed back down. It was because of this that the situation between the two of them was laughable. A one-line sky martial artist had actually managed to intimidate an evolved martial artist. Before this, everyone in the National Guard Hall was unconvinced. They all disliked Longao. But now, Longao had defeated Hao Chao. Who would dare to find trouble with him? Tang Lin and Ouyang Feng were the happiest people. This was because for such a character to appear in the National Guard Hall, it was a good thing for the Nebula royal family. Longao, I now announce that you are officially the Vice Hall Master of the National Guard Hall. Tang Lin's decision caused an uproar. Everyone knew what the Vice Hall Master of the National Guard Hall represented. This was because the three Hall Masters of the National Guard Hall, whether it was the Hall Master Tang Lin or the two Vice Hall Masters Luo Cheng and Yang Yi, they were all fusion martial artists. If an evolved martial artist was not qualified to become a Vice Hall Master, would a one-line sky martial artist be qualified? If it was the Longao of the past, no one would be convinced. But now, Longao had defeated Hao Chao. Even if everyone was unwilling, they already knew that things had come to this. It was because of this that the members of the National Guard Hall, including the others, all had smiles on their faces as they expressed their congratulations. Longao did not care about this at all. He only cared about one thing, and that was to immediately head to the Thunder Empire to search for the 1,000-year-old Thunder Fruit. Chapter 83. Clenching his fists, Yue looked at him viciously. National Guard Hall, lobby. Hall Master, I'm going to the Thunder Empire immediately. Of course, Tang Lin knew why Longao was in such a hurry. Under normal circumstances, they still needed to wait 10 days before they could depart. But in order to accommodate Longao, Tang Lin had no choice but to bring forward the date. This time, Nebula National Guard Hall sent 10 members to the Thunder Empire to participate in the Thunder Battle. They were Longao, Luo Cheng, Yue, Mao Feng, Tongbo, Hao Jiangjun, Hao Chao, Yirong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan, 2 Deputy Hall Masters, and 8 National Guards. Longao, a one-line sky martial artist, according to the National Guard Hall strength ranking, it was absolutely impossible for him to become the Deputy Hall Master, let alone the boss of this Thunder Battle. But the result? A Xiantian martial artist had become the Vice Hall Master and the leader of the 10 people. Among the 10 people, at least 80% of them were unconvinced, but they didn't dare to voice their anger. Who could be a match for someone who could even defeat Hao Chao? Tang Lin explained some things and arranged for the 10 people, including Ouyang Fei, to officially leave Nebula City and go to the Thunder Empire to participate in the so-called Thunder Battle. When Longao left Nebula City, the Miao family's assassins and Long Ming had also set off. Longao didn't know what the Miao family and Long family were doing. As a vassal kingdom of the Thunder Empire, Nebula Kingdom had to pay taxes every year. Even if Nebula Kingdom was unwilling, they could only accept it silently under the tyranny of the Thunder Empire. The distance between the Thunder Empire and Nebula Kingdom was very far. According to the speed of Longao and the others, it would take at least 10 or even 15 days to arrive. On the way to the Thunder Empire, Brother Long, I have something to ask you. Do you have time? Brother Luo, what's the matter? As the Deputy Hall Master of the National Guard Hall, Luo Cheng's strength and identity were there. Moreover, Luo Cheng didn't show a trace of contempt, or even contempt from beginning to end. Brother Long, I'm afraid the Thunder Battle this time isn't that simple. Seemingly surprised, Longao asked in return, Brother Luo, is there a problem? Nodding his head, Luo Cheng said with a serious expression, Brother Long, according to reliable information, the Thunder Empire wants to completely eradicate the hidden danger that the kingdom has brought. The 10 members they sent are all super geniuses. Therefore, we must be careful when participating in the Thunder Battle. Brother Luo, please speak your mind. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew that Luo Cheng did not come looking for him just to talk about this matter. Brother Long, since that's the case, I'll get straight to the point. Your talent and potential are obvious to all. With Brother Long's potential, you'll definitely soar to the sky if you participate in the Thunder Battle. At that time, if nothing unexpected happens, the Thunder Empire will definitely recruit Brother Long. So, I hope that Brother Long won't agree to the Thunder Empire's offer. So that was the case. Longao smiled helplessly and said, Brother Luo, don't worry. Since I have already promised the Nebula royal family, no matter what conditions the Thunder Empire throws at me, I will not be moved. I wonder if Brother Luo is satisfied with this answer? Satisfied, satisfied. Of course, Luo Cheng was satisfied. Just like that, the group headed towards the Thunder Empire. The Thunder Empire was one of the 9 provinces of the Tianwu continent. It was one of the 2 overlords of the Tianwu continent. There were many vassal kingdoms around it. Thunder City was the capital of the Thunder Empire. It was the place where politics, economy, and military were the most concentrated. It was also the place with the most martial artists. The entire Thunder Empire, including the surrounding experts, were all gathered here. After 13 days of rushing, Longao and the group finally arrived at Thunder City. Looking at the huge city gates, Longao was a little surprised. Not to mention strength, just the magnificence of Thunder City was not something Nebula City could compare to. As one of the vassal kingdoms of the Thunder Empire, the Nebula royal family had a special relay station in Thunder City. 32 kingdoms and 32 relay stations were all gathered in Thunder City, waiting for the Thunder Battle to begin. Among the 32 vassal kingdoms of the Thunder Empire, 12 of them were loyal to the Thunder Empire. As for the remaining 20 kingdoms, they were all ambitious and wanted to rise up and break away from the Thunder Empire. It was also because of this that the Thunder Empire wanted to use the Thunder Battle to deplete the strength of the 32 kingdoms. As long as the members of the National Guard Hall of each kingdom were eliminated, the 32 kingdoms would not be a concern. Among the many kingdoms, the Nebula Kingdom's strength could be ranked in the top 3. However, the relay station arranged by the Thunder Empire was not very good. This was also a sign of the Thunder Empire's attitude. The Nebula royal family knew this, and so did the other kingdoms. Inside the Nebula relay station, Ouyang Fei arranged everyone and found Longao. He went straight to the point and said, Brother Long, according to reliable information, the 1,000-year thunder fruit has been taken by someone. Therefore, we are already late. What did you say? Longao's main purpose in coming to Thunder City this time was to obtain the 1,000-year thunder fruit. But now, Ouyang Fei told him that the 1,000-year thunder fruit had disappeared and was taken by someone else. How could he not be angry? If he could not obtain the 1,000-year thunder fruit, Yuan would not be able to save her. 1 year, Yuan only had 1 year. In other words, after 1 year, even if he obtained the 1,000-year thunder fruit, it would be useless. Brother Long, I did not investigate this matter clearly. I am sorry. Reason suppressed emotion. Longao knew that this matter had nothing to do with Ouyang Fei. In the end, Ouyang Fei helped him because of a favor. Not helping him was an obligation. Therefore, he did not blame Ouyang Fei. Big brother Ouyang, you must be joking. I want to ask if you have any clues as to who obtained the 1,000-year thunder fruit? And don't worry, I have already sent people to investigate. I believe there will be a result soon. In another 12 days, the Thunder Battle will officially begin. Brother Long, during this time, you have to rest well. No matter if you win or lose, I only have one request. That is, you must come back alive. With Ouyang Fei's help, Longao knew that there would be a result soon. Nodding, Longao said, Don't worry, I will protect my life. Brother Long, we have just arrived at Thunder City. Why don't we go out and have a look? Longao did not want to go, but seeing Ouyang Fei's urgent eyes, he could only agree helplessly. Just like that, the two of them got up and left Star Cloud Station. As the capital of Thunder Empire, Thunder City's prosperity was not something that Star Cloud City could compare to. Because of this, all the people from the 32 kingdoms entered Thunder City and enjoyed the prosperity of Thunder City. There were even some winners who could not resist the temptation of Thunder City and directly joined the National Guard Hall. Brother Long, Thunder City's most famous snack is the rolling donkey. Previously, it was transported at top speed. When it was sent to Star Cloud Imperial family, the taste had changed. Since we are here this time, why don't we try it ourselves? No problem. Chapter 84. Rolling Donkey, Thunder City's most famous snack. In the entire Thunder City, There was only one rolling donkey shop that specialized in it. It was packed with people. If one wanted to eat a bowl of rolling donkey, sometimes they could even queue up for 2 hours. Ouyang Fei had already made arrangements. He had already sent people to reserve seats. When the two of them arrived, they could only shrug their shoulders helplessly. After sitting down, the waiter served 2 bowls of rolling donkey. After tasting the first mouthful, Ouyang Fei couldn't help but praise, "It's really delicious." Longao also nodded his head in agreement. He had to admit that Thunder City's rolling donkey was indeed delicious. No wonder there were people who didn't hesitate to queue up for more than 2 hours just to buy a bowl of rolling donkey. "You too get lost. Our family's young master wants to eat here." At this time, a group of burly men came in and started shouting without distinguishing between right and wrong. They ferociously drove away the crowd in the shop. When the originally angry crowd saw the 2 youngsters behind the burly men, they didn't dare to say anything. One by one, they left unwillingly. "Brother Duanmu, I know you like rolling donkey the most. Therefore, I asked the master to make a brand new one. Try it." Duanmu Lin smiled with satisfaction. As the young master of the Duanmu family, no matter where he went in Thunder City, he was a high and mighty existence. Long Ili, the 4th-rank Long family's hedonistic disciple, he relied on his family's strength to commit all sorts of outrages. Together with Duanmu Lin, they were known as the 4 pests of Thunder City. This time, Long Ili took a fancy to a maid beside Duanmu Lin. The more he couldn't get, the more he wanted. It was precisely because of this that Long Ili tried to curry favor with Duanmu Lin. "You 2 bastards, did you hear that?" Almost everyone in the shop had left. Only Long Ao, Ouyang Fei, and a few others remained. Coldly looking at the burly man, Long Ao asked, "Who are you calling?" "You bastards are calling you." Just as the burly man finished speaking, he realized that something was wrong. With a roar, he ruthlessly sent a palm strike toward the 2 of them. However, the palm strike came back even faster. He screamed and fell to the ground. It was obvious that he had fainted. Seeing the burly man suddenly attack, Long Ili and Duanmu Lin's expression turned cold. Looking at Ouyang Fei, Long Ili sneered and said, "Crown Prince of Star Cloud Kingdom. Brother Duanmu, do you know him?" "Crown Prince of Star Cloud Kingdom? Just trash." "Duanmu Lin, say it again?" Being humiliated in such a manner, Ouyang Fei was enraged. He stood up abruptly. As the Crown Prince of the Nebula royal family, insulting him was equivalent to insulting the entire Nebula Kingdom. With a cold snort, Duanmu Lin sneered and said, "Trash from a crippled country dares to be impudent here? Men, take them down." As soon as Duanmu Lin finished speaking, 6 or 7 burly men shot out from behind the 2 of them. They charged towards Long Ao and Ouyang Fei. However, the Nebula royal family's guards followed behind them. In the blink of an eye, both sides were engaged in a fierce battle. "How dare you? How dare you resist? Kill without mercy." Seeing that the other party was actually resisting, Long Ili and Duanmu Lin were greatly shocked, and both of them almost roared in anger. According to the status of Long Clan and Duanmu Clan in Thunder City, who would dare to touch the lion's head and pull out a tooth from the tiger's mouth? As the Crown Prince of the Nebula royal family, Ouyang Fei was also a one-line sky warrior. Even if he didn't make a move, the Xiantian chi he released was enough to suppress everyone. Xiantian warrior? Long Ili and Duanmu Lin were greatly shocked, as if they couldn't believe it. Both of them turned around at the same time, rolling and crawling to escape. Their appearance was extremely embarrassing. "Big brother Ouyang, what's wrong?" Looking at the dignified face of Ouyang Fei, Long Ao was very surprised. "Brother Long, you don't know, but the 2 people who just escaped are from Thunder City's Long Clan and Duanmu Clan. Both of them are known as the 4 evils of Thunder City. This time, after being humiliated by me, I believe they will absolutely not let this matter go." As the Crown Prince of the Nebula royal family, Ouyang Fei naturally knew that this matter wasn't so simple. Although Long Clan and Duanmu Clan were only 2 clans in Thunder City, their strength was almost the same as the Nebula royal family. This was the foundation and strength of the major clans in Thunder City. Long Ao didn't say much, because he was too lazy to care about the matters between clans and countries. As long as he could find the 1,000-year-old Thunder Fruit, then he would participate in the Thunder City War. Ouyang Fei and Longao didn't continue to eat and roll around. The two of them just got up and prepared to leave. Outside, there were already many people standing there. Long Ili and Duanmu Lin were also there. Their faces were filled with indifference and killing intent. Long Ili roared in anger. The trash inside. Roll out for this young master. You bastards, you actually dare to be impudent here. Are you blind? Brother Long, you see, I didn't say anything wrong. This kind of scum, if it weren't for the clan behind them, I'm afraid they wouldn't even be able to survive for 3 days. Long Ao also smiled and said, counter soldiers with arms, water with an earthweir. I also want to see how powerful the helpers those two found are. Nodding, Long Ao and Ouyang Fei left the store with their subordinates. Looking at the dozens of people outside, the two of them smiled. This was because after sensing the aura of the crowd, the two of them discovered that the helpers Long Ili and Duanmu Lin found were only 2 Xiantian realm warriors, and they were only 100 scatter heaven warriors. 100 scatter heaven warriors? You two bastards, don't you know who we are? How dare you be impudent here? If the two of you kneel down now and call me grandfather 3 times, I might be magnanimous and only break one of your legs. Otherwise what? Long Ao asked with interest. For the hedonistic disciples of big clans, other than waiting for death, they could only rely on their power to bully others. In the end, Long Ao looked down on these hedonistic disciples from the bottom of his heart. If it weren't for the other party's identity, he and Ouyang Fei wouldn't even bother to talk nonsense. Reckless fool, Brother Duanmu. Talking nonsense with this kind of scum is simply a waste of our breath. Nodding his head, Duanmu Lin's face turned cold and murderously said, Kill. Under Duanmu Lin's command, 2 burly men shot out from behind the two of them. They were the helpers the two of them had found this time. The two of them were 100 scatter heaven warriors. Relying on the power of the clans behind them, the two of them directly attacked to kill Long Ao and Ouyang Fei. In the eyes of the Long and Duanmu clans, the small Nebula Imperial family was nothing. You're courting death. Ouyang Fei's eyes turned cold. No matter what, he was the crown prince of the Nebula royal family. He represented the Nebula royal family. If he didn't dare to retaliate after being humiliated again and again, it wouldn't just be him losing face. It would be the entire Nebula royal family. As a one-line sky warrior, when Ouyang Fei rushed out, his powerful aura had already shrouded the 200 scatter heaven warriors. Under everyone's shocked gaze, Ouyang Fei's palms fiercely chopped down. Chapter 85. Killing the enemy in one move. Ouyang Fei didn't hold back at all. He killed the 200 scatter sky cultivators in one move. Long Ili and Duanmu Lin might be hedonistic, but they weren't stupid. Seeing Ouyang Fei kill 2 of their subordinates in one move, their faces changed. Both of them shouted in shock, One-line sky cultivators. One-line sky cultivators were above 100 scatter sky. Long Ili and Duanmu Lin didn't dare to stay any longer. They turned around to leave, but at this time, Long Ao, who hadn't moved since the beginning, silently appeared in front of them like a ghost. With a sneer, Long Ao asked indifferently, You two, where are you going? Hearing the screams of the two, Long Ao was completely depressed. He hadn't even made a move yet, but the two of them were screaming like pigs being slaughtered. This was too ridiculous. Brother Long, forget it. Ouyang Fei, who had just beheaded 200 Scatter Heaven's martial artists, calmed down and instantly became rational. Because he was very clear in his heart that once he killed Long Ili and Duanmu Lin, Long family and Duanmu family would definitely not leave the matter at that. They were both families, but the strength of the Long and Duanmu families was there for all to see. Even if it was the Star Cloud Kingdom, it wouldn't be a match for the Long and Duanmu families. Even if he was unwilling, Ouyang Fei still suppressed his emotions. Even if it wasn't for himself, he had to think about the kingdom. How could Long Ao not know about Ouyang Fei's worries? No matter what, with the status and identity of the Long and Duanmu families in Thunder City, The Star Cloud Kingdom wouldn't provoke these two families. You two ungrateful dogs better get out of the way for this young master. Otherwise, you'll die without a burial place. Until now, Long Eli and Duanmu Lin were still acting ruthlessly. In their hearts, they thought that the other party wouldn't dare to touch them in Thunder City. What a joke. The Long and Duanmu family's strength and status in Thunder City were second only to the Thunder Imperial family. With a sneer, Longao said indifferently, "You two better shut up." "Shut your sister up? Who do you think you are, country bumpkin? Let me tell you, you better be smart. If you dare to provoke this young master, be careful that you won't have a tomorrow." The faces of Long Eli and Duanmu Lin were filled with disdain. They heavily snorted, and the two of them prepared to leave without the slightest scruple. The people who were watching the good show all around naturally recognized the four pests of Thunder City. Every one of them dared to be angry, but didn't dare to say anything. They were cursing the 18 generations of ancestors of these two people in their hearts. However, when the two men who were about to leave saw that the other party had no intention of giving way, they were instantly enraged. "Kid, you're playing with fire. Get out of my way." Long Eli and Duanmu Lin were infuriated when they saw that the other party was still not giving way. However, they were powerless to do anything because the 100 Scatter Heavens martial artists that they had found this time were all killed by the other party in a single move. Would they dare to personally take action? Brother Long, forget it. Big Brother Ouyang, when it's time to give in, give in. When you can't compromise, don't compromise. Long Ao's voice was filled with endless coldness. He looked coldly at the two people in front of him and said word by word, "Kneel or die. Kneel or die." "Kid, you dare to make us kneel?" Before the two of them could say anything, an unparalleled aura suddenly rose from Long Ao's body and suppressed them from all directions. According to Long Ao's strength, how could the two of them withstand the aura released by him? Kacha, Kacha. Long Eli and Duanmu Lin's ribs were directly crushed and their faces were filled with fear. Only now did the two of them realize that the other party wasn't joking with them. Kneel or die. Under the powerful aura, Long Eli and Duanmu Lin still knelt down. Their faces were filled with coldness and anger, but they didn't dare to say anything because they knew that the other party wasn't joking with them. If they were really killed, even if their families came forward to take revenge, they would already be dead. People like Long Eli and Duanmu Lin were most afraid of death. Good. Don't know who took the lead, but the crowd of onlookers immediately applauded. Everyone hated the four pests of Thunder City to the extreme and wished that the other party would immediately kill the two of them. Hearing the burst of applause coming from all around, whether it was Long Eli or Duanmu Lin, the complexion of both of them became gloomy and cold. If it was in normal times, both of them would have already gotten angry, but now the situation was different. Both of them obediently kneeled on the ground and didn't dare to continue to be arrogant. Don't think that you are so awesome. If it wasn't for Long family and Duanmu family behind you, I can clearly tell you that you are just two piles of trash. If I want to kill you, I can do it in a matter of minutes. Remember, you have to pay the price for being shameless. Long Eli and Duanmu Lin still didn't dare to speak, but both of them were cursing the other party's 18 generations of ancestors in their heart. At the same time, they thought that after I, your father, leave this place, I will definitely make you look good. If it wasn't for Long family behind them, Long Ao wouldn't have let them off. Snorting, he turned around and left with Ouyang Fei. And at this time, the crowd of onlookers had already dispersed. Practically no one stayed behind. What kind of joke was this? If they were caught by the four pests of Thunder City, even if they didn't die, they would lose a layer of skin. Brother Duanmu, this enmity must be avenged. Humph, daring to provoke us, I will make him pay double the price. Brother Long, now you and I will return to our families and invite experts. Remember, the other party is a warrior from One Line Sky. One Line Sky is basically useless. I understand. Enduring the pain of their broken ribs, Long Eli and Duanmu Lin struggled to get up from the ground and walked towards their respective families step by step. Brother Long, this time you were a little reckless. No matter what, Long Ili and Duanmu Lin will not leave this matter at that. Big brother O Yang. I know what you want to say, but I can only tell you that if you blindly seek for perfection, Star Cloud Kingdom will never rise in this lifetime. Too trash. I believe Long family and Duanmu family will not become enemies with Star Cloud Kingdom because of this. Rise? Easier said than done. As the crown prince of Star Cloud Kingdom, Ouyang Fei wanted the kingdom to rise more than anyone else. But the reality was, this matter was easy to think about, but it was incomparably difficult to actually do it. However, Long Ao had already said this much. If he continued to say it, it would be a little unkind. Brother Long, it's still early. How about I bring you to the auction house to take a look? It is said that the auction house in Thunder City has many good things. As long as Brother Long likes it, I will definitely give it to you. Auction house? Long Ao was also a little interested and nodded. Just like this, the two of them walked towards Thunder City, which was also the largest auction house in Thunder Kingdom. In the auction house, there would be auctions every day, but every few days, there would be a large-scale auction. Long Ao and Ouyang Fei's luck was not bad, they just happened to run into it. Chapter 86. Thunderbolt City, the largest auction house. The auction house had 2 floors. The first floor was a huge hall that could hold at least 1,000 people. The huge auction house was packed with people. Everyone was shouting their bids, and the highest bidder would get the item. Ouyang Fei and Long Ao had been in the auction house for 2 hours, but they had not seen anything. Only when the last item came up did Long Ao's spirit rise. His eyes lit up as he stared at the item on the stage. 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit. Ouyang Fei was also surprised. He had never thought that the last item of the auction would be the 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit that Long Ao wanted. He had searched high and low for it, only to find it without any effort. Brother Long, don't worry. No matter what, I will get the 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit for you. Thank you, Big Brother Ouyang. Long Ao knew very well that it would be difficult to bid for the 1,000-year-old Thunderbolt Fruit with his own strength. However, Ouyang Fei was different. As the crown prince of the Nebula royal family, Ouyang Fei definitely had the strength to do so. If it was something else, Long Ao would not trouble Ouyang Fei. However, the 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit was different. No matter what happened, he had to get the 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit. On the auction stage, the auctioneer looked at the last item and said loudly, "Now for the last item, the 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit. I believe everyone is clear about the value of this 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit. Let's not waste any more words. The starting price is 3 Xiantian Beast Dawn. Xiantian Beast Dawn were usually auctioned with gold coins. However, valuable items were not auctioned with gold coins, but Beast Dawn. 3 Xiantian Beast Dawn were equivalent to killing 3 Xiantian spiritual beasts. One could imagine the value of 3 Xiantian Beast Dawn. However, the value of a Millennium Thunder Fruit far surpassed 3 Xiantian Beast Dawn. Furthermore, the Millennium Thunder Fruit was even rarer than the Xiantian Beast Dawn. 4 Xiantian Beast Dawn. Before anyone else could bid, the person who bid suddenly said, "This 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit is for the 3rd prince." The 3rd Prince Zhao Hao? Hearing that the person who made the bid was actually the 3rd Prince Zhao Hao, the crowd went into an uproar. Everyone knew what the 3rd Prince Zhao Hao meant. In Thunder City, the Thunder Imperial family was the absolute overlord. There were 3 clans that stood on equal footing. They were the rank 4 Long clan, Zhang clan, and Duanmu clan. The 3rd prince was the absolute overlord of Thunder City, and the 3rd prince was even more of a hedonistic prince. Normally, he would run amok, and no one dared to provoke him. Because of this, when the 3rd prince started bidding, who would dare to continue bidding against the 3rd prince for the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit? No one dared to say a word even though they were angry. Brother Long, 3rd Prince Zhao Hao is not to be trifled with. Why don't we think of other ways? As the crown prince of the Nebula royal family, Ouyang Fei naturally did not dare to provoke the Thunder royal family. How could Long Ao not know about Ouyang Fei's concerns? He said, "Brother Ouyang, I must get the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit. This has nothing to do with the Nebula royal family." 5 Xiantian Beast Cores. Hearing the sudden bid, everyone was dumbfounded. They looked at the person who made the bid in shock. They didn't know who would dare to bid against the third prince in Thunder City. Jiang Jun, a disciple of the Jiang clan, sneered and said, "Third prince, I don't know which dog dares to bid against you. I'll go take a look." Grabbing Jiang Jun, Zhao Hao sneered and said, "I'd like to see what kind of ability this person has." 10 Xiantian Beast Cores. 11 Xiantian Beast Cores. With swords drawn and bows bent, everyone was looking at Longao. They didn't know whether this person's brain was damaged or not. He actually dared to bid against the third prince. Each and every one of them foolishly looked at both sides bidding. As the bidding continued to escalate, the third prince Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun's complexion were simply gloomy to the extreme. This time, Longao didn't give Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun a chance to continue bidding. He directly shouted, "Two level 2 Xianan Beast Cores." A level 2 Xiantian Beast Core was equivalent to a one-line Sky Warrior. One could imagine the value of a level 2 Xiantian Beast Core. Even 100 Xiantian Beast Cores couldn't compare to 2 level 2 Xiantian Beast Cores. The auctioneer didn't dare to drop the hammer. After all, the one who made the bid was the third prince. Once the hammer dropped, the third prince would come looking for trouble, and the auctioneer would be held responsible. However, at this time, Longao stood up and sneered, "Is this the auction house's rule?" Although the surrounding people didn't say anything, they had already started whispering. This kind of situation had a huge impact on the auction house. After all, the auction house played with its reputation. Once it lost its reputation, the auction house wouldn't be far from closing down. The third prince Zhao Hao was about to continue bidding, but Jiang Jun stopped him. He shook his head and said, "Third prince, this person is obviously looking for trouble. Although the 1,000-year thunder fruit is precious, 3 level 2 Xiantian Beast Cores are indeed not worth it." "I don't care. Bastard, you actually dare to bid against me. Shout for cores." 4 level 2 Xiantian Beast Cores. 4 level 2 Xiantian Beast Cores. Longao muttered in his heart. No matter what, he only had 2 level 2 Xiantian Beast Cores. He couldn't take out any more. But to give up on the 1,000-year thunder fruit? If he gave up this time, who knows when he would be able to get the next 1,000-year thunder fruit? He could wait, but Yuan couldn't. Thinking of this, Longao gritted his teeth and shouted, 20 level 2 Xianan Beast Cores. An uproar broke out as everyone stared at the youth. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that the youth was deliberately looking for trouble. Who was this person? Why did he dare to find trouble with the third prince? Did he not want to live anymore? Are UF** King looking for trouble? Don't you know who he is? Jiang Jun completely exploded. He was also trying to flatter the youth as he roared in anger. The third prince Zhao Meng didn't continue bidding. Even if he was a prince, he couldn't take out more than 20 level 2 Xiantian Beast Cores. But losing the bid was a complete loss of face. Who you are has nothing to do with me. If you have the ability, then bid. If you don't have Xiantian Beast Cores, then shut up. Looking at the auctioneer on the stage, Longao asked, "If no one continues to bid, then this 1,000-year thunder fruit should belong to me, right?" The auctioneer glanced at the third prince. Seeing that the third prince didn't continue bidding, he gritted his teeth and said, 20 level 2 Xianan Beast Cores sold. Longao was overjoyed. He didn't care about anyone else as he grabbed the 1,000-year thunder fruit from the box and threw it into the dragon seal space. He then turned around and prepared to leave. "Wait, you haven't taken out your 20,000-year thunder fruits? Record it down first. I will head to the Thunder Forest later to hunt for spiritual beasts. I will definitely gather 20 level 2 Xiantian Beast Cores and hand them over to you." Chapter 87. Wait. Hearing the other party's words, the auctioneer was shocked. Dine and dash? Although there were many people who dared to dine and dash in this world, no one dared to dine and dash in Thunder City's auction house. Not to mention, this person had just bid against the third prince. Could it be that this person was deliberately looking for trouble? I've already said that I will definitely return the 20 level 2 Xiantian Beast Dawn to the auction house. How dare you dine and dash? Guards! Just as the words of the auction house fell, a lot of big men shot from all around. Each and every one of them stared at Longao with a fiendish look. At this time, Jiang Jun suddenly sneered and said, "So it's a trash who eats and dashes. Capture this person for me. Don't kill him. I want to see how many heads you have that you dare to behave so atrociously in Thunder City." The experts of the imperial family, Jiang family, and the auction house all rushed forward. 30 to 40 people left quickly and returned even faster. Miserable screams resounded throughout the auction house. Looking at the scattered figures, Jiang Jun and the third Prince Zhao Hao were shocked. Xiantian warrior? No wonder the other party was so arrogant. So he was a Xiantian warrior. Xiantian warriors might be able to dominate other places, but in Thunder City, where experts were as common as clouds, even Xiantian warriors had to be obedient. As the third prince of the imperial family, Zhao Hao naturally had Xiantian warriors as bodyguards, and so did Jiang Jun. Under the two's orders, 2 Xiantian warriors rushed out. But in the end, the 2 Xiantian warriors didn't even have the chance to react before they were ruthlessly kicked out by Longao. 1 kick each. Seeing the Xiantian warriors being kicked out by the other party, Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun were completely stunned. But at this time, a terrifying aura spread out and enveloped the entire auction house. "Little brother, don't be impatient." A middle-aged man slowly walked down from the second floor with a fan in his hand. Seeing the middle-aged man, the auctioneer bowed and greeted, "Manager." Waving his hand, Lu Feng smiled and said, "I already know about this matter. Leave this matter to me. Go and disperse everyone. Today's auction is over." Nodding his head, the auctioneer immediately sent people to disperse the auction house's people. In a short while, everyone in the hall disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only Longao, Lu Feng, Zhao Hao, and Jiang Jun. "President Lu, this person is bidding against me, but he doesn't have a beast core. According to this situation, shouldn't this 1,000-year-old thunder fruit belong to me?" Looking at the third prince, Zhao Hao, Lu Feng felt even more disdain and contempt in his heart. However, due to the other party's status, he still smiled and said, "Third prince, I'll deal with this matter later." "Third prince, the auction has ended." An eviction order. Although Lu Feng did not say it explicitly, the meaning behind his words was very clear. He had directly issued an eviction order. If it were not for the sake of the Thunder Royal family, Lu Feng would not have given the third prince, Zhao Hao, any face. Taking a deep look at Longao, Zhao Hao said coldly, "I will remember you. I hope you will stay here for the rest of your life." After Jiang Jun and Zhao Hao left, Lu Feng smiled and said, "Little brother, are you from the Star Cloud Kingdom?" Longao was not surprised that the other party knew his identity. After all, he was sitting with Ouyang Fei just now. According to the auction house's strength, it would be very easy for them to find out his identity in a short period of time. Longao from the Scarlet Fire town of Star Cloud Kingdom. "Okay, I'm Lu Feng. If you don't mind, you can call me Big Brother Lu, and I'll call you Brother Long. How about it?" "Big Brother Lu? Brother Long?" Longao was very surprised. After all, the other party's status and strength were there for all to see. Why was he so polite to him? "Big Brother Lu, since you're like this, what about the third prince, Zhao Hao?" "Ha ha ha, it's fine. He's just a hedonistic prince. Come, I have something to tell you." Filled with curiosity, Longao followed Lu Feng to the second floor and into a simple room. "Big Brother Lu, I'm determined to get the 1,000-year thunder fruit. However, I don't have 20 level 2 Xianyan Beast Dawn on me, but I promise that I'll return them to the auction house within a month." Shaking his head, Lu Feng said, "Brother Long, I'll give you this 1,000-year thunder fruit. As for the third prince, you don't have to worry about him." "Big Brother Lu, I can't accept this thunder fruit for nothing. If you refuse again, you won't treat me as your big brother." Longao could only accept. No matter what, he couldn't hand over this 1,000-year thunder fruit. If it wasn't for the upcoming thunder battle, he would have immediately returned to the Scarlet Fire town. "Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt. Are you here to represent the Star Cloud Kingdom Protector Hall in this year's thunder battle?" Without hiding anything, Longao nodded and replied, "That's right. Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt. According to my understanding, with your strength, you don't have the qualifications to enter the Star Cloud Kingdom Protector Hall, let alone represent them in the thunder battle. I'd like to ask, Why is that? To be honest, Big Brother Lu, I don't know about this either. It's all done by the Star Cloud Kingdom. Seeing that Longao wasn't willing to say more, Lu Feng didn't continue asking. He said, the Thunder Battle is a life and death battle between the Star Cloud Kingdom Protector Hall. If you're not careful, you'll lose your life. Brother Long, if you're willing, you can join my auction house. How about it? Olive branch. Seeing that the other party had thrown out an olive branch, Longao was also a little surprised. He said, Big Brother Lu, I appreciate your kindness. However, the Nebula royal family has treated me well. I will never do such a thing. So, I hope that Big Brother Lu can understand. Okay, since you're not willing, I won't force you. Lu Feng seemed to have guessed that Longao would be like this. He didn't make things difficult for him. Then, the two chatted for a while before Longao turned and left. Manager, he's just a small Star Cloud Kingdom protector. Do we need to do this? I've seen what this kid is like. He's been a waste for 10 years, but he didn't give up. Not long ago, he rose up quickly. In just a few months, he grew to this stage and even became the Star Cloud Kingdom's protector. With this achievement, is he still an ordinary person? Manager, although this kid isn't simple, he provoked the third prince. If we extend an olive branch, wouldn't we be going against the royal family? A waste of a prince. I don't believe that the royal family will go against our auction house for a waste. Pass down the order. If this kid comes back with 20 innate level 2 beast on in the future, we can't accept it. Do you understand? Understood. Looking at the youth who had already left, Lu Feng's eyes slowly lit up. He said to himself, Longao, interesting. I hope you won't disappoint me. Chapter 88. Outside the auction house. Bastard. Stop right there. Bastard. Who are you calling? Bastard, he's calling you. Jiang Jun was furious when he realized that he had been cheated. However, he was stopped by the third prince, Zhao Hao. Zhao Hao sneered and said, Longao, Star Cloud Kingdom State Protector, one-line sky martial artist. I'm puzzled. Is there no one else in Star Cloud Kingdom? They actually let a trash enter the Star Cloud Kingdom Protector Hall. Ridicule, contempt, and disdain. The third prince and Jiang Jun didn't have any expert bodyguards by their side, but the two of them were still calm and collected. This was because the two of them were very confident. With their status in Thunder City, even if the other party was given 10,000 guts, they still wouldn't dare to be impudent. Get lost. Longao could not be bothered with the two. Towards such a hedonistic disciple, he did not even bother to say another word. He turned around and prepared to leave. However, he was still stopped by the two. For the sake of Star Cloud Kingdom, I'll spare your life. However, you have to hand over the 1,000-year thunder fruit. With a whirlwind, Longao's body had already disappeared. Seeing that the other party had ignored them, Jiang Jun and Zhao Hao's faces were extremely gloomy. Third prince, this person is so presumptuous. If we just let it go like this, wouldn't we be laughed at by others? Zhao Hao nodded. Zhao Hao's reputation in Thunder City was so bad that it was even worse than the four pests of Thunder City. Since Longao ignored him, how could Zhao Hao let it go so easily? He said coldly, I'll let him know the consequences of offending me. Inside the Star Cloud relay station. Brother Long, are you all right? I'm fine. Brother Long, I'm sorry for what happened just now. For the kingdom, I had no choice but to do that. How could Longao not know what Ouyang Fei was thinking? From the beginning to the end, he had never blamed him. No matter what, Ouyang Fei's status was there. Once he provoked the Thunder Royal family and the other major families, it would not only involve Ouyang Fei but also Star Cloud Kingdom. Longao smiled and said, Big Brother Ouyang, it's okay. I know your situation. Ouyang Fei's expression was solemn. He thought for a while and said, Brother Long, now that you've offended the Thunder Royalty, the Zhang family, the Duanmu family, and the Long family, why don't you return to the kingdom first and save your sister-in-law? I'll handle the matter of the Thunder battle. Big Brother Ouyang, this matter started because of me. If I don't solve it, I will definitely not leave. As for this 1,000-year-old thunder fruit, I will have to trouble you to send someone to send it back to Scarlet Fire Town. Longao's intention was very simple. He wanted to send the 1,000-year Thunderfruit back and save Yuan. As for himself, he would not leave Thunder City. In the end, Longao was completely depressed to the extreme. In Thunder City, aside from the overlord of the Thunder Royal family, Longao had offended the other three major powers, the Jiang family, the Long family, and the Duamu family. Longao knew very well that once the four major powers joined forces to deal with him, even Ouyang Fei and the Star Cloud Kingdom would not dare to support him. Brother Long, big brother Ouyang, since things have already reached this stage, it seems that we can only counter soldiers with arms and water with an earthweir. Longao took out the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit and handed it to Ouyang Fei. Big brother Ouyang, no matter what happens, you must bring this 1,000-year Thunder Fruit to Yuan smoothly. Please. Looking deeply at Longao in front of him, Ouyang Fei sighed. He knew the importance of this 1,000-year Thunder Fruit better than anyone else. He nodded and said, "Don't worry. Leave this matter to me." Ouyang Fei left with the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit. Before Longao could return to his room, a few people came from another direction. It was Yue and the others. "Humph, Longao, stop right there. What's the matter?" "Longao, we already know what happened today. We have no right to interfere with what you do, but you have to understand one thing. You are now the state protector of the Nebula National Guard Hall. Everything you do represents the Star Cloud Kingdom. You have now offended the Thunder Royal family, the Jiang family, the Long family, and the Duamu family. I want to ask you, have you ever thought of the Star Cloud Kingdom?" This time, the Nebula National Guard Hall sent a total of 10 state protectors, namely Longao, Luo Cheng, Yue, Mao Feng, Tong Bo, Hao Jiangjun, Hao Chao, Yi Rong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan. As the Deputy Hall Master of the National Guard Hall, Luo Cheng was originally dedicated to protecting Longao. However, what happened today had seriously threatened the Nebula National Guard Hall and the Nebula Royal family. As the Deputy Hall Master, even Luo Cheng could not continue to protect Longao. "Ha ha ha, brother Yu, I was there at the time. I really don't blame Brother Long, Prince Ouyang. This is a matter of the National Guard Hall. I hope the royal family will not intervene." Although the Nebula National Guard Hall obeyed the orders of the Nebula Royal family, it also existed independently. Unless the Emperor of the Nebula Kingdom came in person, no one in the entire Nebula Kingdom could command the National Guard Hall. Ouyang Fei seemed to want to say something, but in the end, he closed his mouth. However, his face was full of displeasure. "Yue, I have already said at the beginning that if you provoke me again, I will kill you. Are you itching for a beating?" Hearing this, Yue was shocked. He had heard of Longao's tyranny with his own ears. What's more, a person who could even defeat Hao Chao. If Longao really beat him, wouldn't he be in trouble? Luo Cheng coughed twice and said with some displeasure, "Brother Long, you are indeed wrong in this matter. Once the Thunder Royal family and the three major families come forward, not only you, but even the National Guard Hall will suffer. Do you understand?" Longao wasn't a fool. He completely understood that if he was useful, the National Guard Hall would treat him like a treasure. Seeing that he got into trouble, the National Guard Hall wanted to kick him out. The 9 members of the National Guard Hall were all present. It was clear. With a sneer, Longao asked back, "What do you want?" Yue snorted, "Longao, our meaning is simple. Because of your recklessness, you have provoked the Thunder Royal family and the 3 major families. We, the National Guard Hall, will not clean up your mess. So from now on, hope. Hope your ass." Yue wasn't angry at all. Longao said directly, "It is useless to keep the National Guard Hall like this. Luo Cheng, from now on, I officially leave the National Guard Hall. No matter what happens, it is my business alone. It has nothing to do with the National Guard Hall and the Star Cloud Royal family." Hearing this, Luo Cheng and the others finally sighed in relief. No matter what, even if the Thunder Royal family and the 3 major families found trouble with Longao, it wouldn't involve the Star Cloud Royal family and the National Guard Hall. However, at this time, Ouyang Fei said, "Brother Long, although you are no longer the National Guard Hall's National Guard Master, you are still my big brother. No matter what happens, the Star Cloud Kingdom and I will support you. Prince Ouyang. Yue was shocked. He didn't expect Ouyang Fei to suddenly act like this. Chapter 89. The Nebula Protector Hall belonged to the Nebula royal family. Luo Cheng and the rest forced Longao to leave the Protector Hall because they did not want to cause trouble for the Protector Hall and the Nebula royal family. But now, Ouyang Fei was obviously biased towards Longao. If that was the case, what was the point of Longao leaving the Protector Hall? Once the Thunder royal family and the three major families came to cause trouble, it would not only implicate the Nebula royal family but also the Protector Hall. Yue, Deputy Hall Master Luo, I have made up my mind. No matter what happens to Longao, I will support him. Ouyang Fei's attitude was clear. As the Crown Prince of the Nebula Kingdom, even Luo Cheng and the rest could not do anything now that the Emperor was not present. Seeing the situation, Longao suddenly smiled and said, Brother Ouyang, with a brother like you, everything is worth it. From now on, not only will I leave the Protector Hall, but I will also leave the Nebula royal family. Without giving Ouyang Fei any chance to speak, Longao continued, Brother Ouyang, I would like to ask you for a favor. Ouyang Fei sighed deeply. How could he not know Longao's character? He nodded and asked, Brother Long, what's the matter? I hope Brother Ouyang can help me take care of the Long family. Brother Long, don't worry. As long as I, Ouyang Fei, am here, nothing will happen to the Long family. Thank you. I will repay this kindness in the future. After saying that, Longao turned and left. Soon, he disappeared from the Nebula relay station. Looking at the figure that had already left, Yue and the others sneered in their hearts. They had completely removed the thorn in their side. In the end, Yue and the others, including Luo Cheng, were still filled with envy, jealousy, and hatred towards Longao. Crown Prince Ouyang, the Thunder battle will officially start in 10 days. The Thunder royal family has just sent a message for you to go to them. Nodding, Ouyang Fei was extremely unhappy about Longao's matter. He turned and left quickly. Hall Master Luo, aren't we going a bit too far by doing this? Among the 9 people, Hao Chao was the most upright person. He didn't want to deal with Longao just because he was defeated by Longao. Compared to Yue, Hao Chao was very noble. Luo Cheng waved his hand. No one knew what expression he had on his face. He said indifferently, Everything is for the National Guard Hall and the Nebula royal family. Brother Hao, Longao only has himself to blame for this. He can't blame anyone else. Hao Chao looked down on Yue in his heart. He glared at Yue and chased after him. Brother Long, wait for me. Seeing Hao Chao chasing after him, Longao was very puzzled. He asked, Brother Hao, what's the matter? Toward Hao Chao, this person, Longao still had a favorable impression. Brother Long, you were too reckless this time. Luo Cheng and the others are obviously forcing you to leave the National Guard Hall. If you leave the National Guard Hall now, what will you do if the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans find trouble with you? There's no point in staying in such a National Guard Hall. Although that's the case, Brother Long, have you thought about your family? This time, you provoked the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans and left the National Guard Hall. If the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans target your family, what will you do? I believe that Brother Ouyang will help me take care of my family. Longao had full confidence in Ouyang Fei. Moreover, Ouyang Fei had just promised him. However, Hao Chao did not think so. He said in a serious tone, Brother Long, it's not that I don't believe in Prince Ouyang, but the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans are too powerful. Once they are determined to deal with your family, can Ouyang Fei stop them? At that time, even the Nebula Kingdom may not dare to stop them. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he could understand the meaning of Hao Chao's words. Before this, he had indeed not thought about this. Now that he thought about it, it was just as Hao Chao said. Once the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans target his family, could Ouyang Fei stop them alone? Although Ouyang Fei was the crown prince of the Nebula Kingdom and could indeed show off in the Nebula Kingdom, what about in front of the Thunder Imperial family? Brother Hao, Actually, you and I both know that even if I don't leave the National Guard Hall, I can't deal with the Thunder Imperial family. Moreover, the National Guard Hall can't tolerate me at all. Why should I deceive myself? After a deep sigh, Hao Chao said, Brother Long, to tell you the truth, you are the person I admire the most. I also believe that you will definitely be able to rise to the top in the future. Longao did not say anything and only smiled. Brother Long, I came to you this time because I thought of a way. Maybe it can help you. Brother Hao, what way? After thinking for a while, Hao Chao said, Brother Long, the only way now is for you to continue participating in the Thunder Battle. As long as you can achieve something in the Thunder Battle, I believe the Thunder Imperial family will definitely value you. When the time comes, Hao Chao did not continue, but the meaning in his words was very clear. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he could understand, but he said, Brother Hao, I have already left the National Guard Hall. Can I still participate in the Thunder Battle? The Thunder Battle was a great battle held by the Thunder Empire. 32 kingdoms and the Thunder Empire would participate together. Brother Long, you can rest assured about this. The Thunder Battle was originally stipulated by the Thunder Empire. Apart from the Thunder Empire and the 32 kingdoms, as long as you belong to the 32 kingdoms or the Thunder Empire, you can participate. However, the prerequisite is that your cultivation must reach the one-line sky realm. So that's how it is. Brother Hao, thank you. 10 days later, I will participate in the Thunder Battle. Brother Long, you must be careful of Yue and the others. When you participate in the Thunder Battle, I will stand on your side and help you. Nodding his head, Longao didn't continue to say anything. Everything was in silence. He was such a person. If someone helped him, he would return the favor twofold. On the other hand, if someone deliberately looked for trouble, he would take revenge. Looking at Longao, who had already left, Hao Chao smiled and said, What a confident young man. I am really looking forward to your growth. National Guard Hall, you will regret your actions today. After leaving the Star Cloud Relay Station, Longao first found an inn and waited for the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans to come looking for trouble. Thinking about it, Longao also felt a little helpless. He had just entered Thunder City and had provoked the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans in less than 2 days. Perhaps he could be considered an unprecedented person. After the Zhang family, the Long family, and the Duamu family received the news that Longao had provoked the 3rd prince, they all quieted down and waited for the 3rd prince to find trouble with this person. No matter what, in Thunder City, the Thunder Imperial family was the absolute overlord. Chapter 90. The next day, early morning. Outside the inn, Longao stretched his body. As soon as he stepped out of the inn, he saw 4 figures approaching from afar. 2 of them were the 3rd Prince Zhao Hao and Zhang Jun. As for the remaining 2 people, Longao sensed a little and sensed that the 2 were one-line sky martial artists. The Thunder Empire was the absolute overlord of the 32 kingdoms. The strength of the Thunder Empire was there for all to see. 2 one-line sky martial artists were nothing to the Thunder Imperial family. Longao, I have to admire you. You actually left the Nebula Protector Hall. But that's fine. I'll let you know the consequences of provoking the 3rd prince. Longao wasn't surprised that the 3rd Prince Zhao Hao and Zhang Jun already knew that he had left the Protector Hall. After all, with their strength in Thunder City, it would be easy for them to find out about him. Longao, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit and kneel down to admit your mistakes. Perhaps I'll let you go. Otherwise, not only you, but even your family will suffer. Hearing Zhao Hao's words, Longao's body suddenly emitted a terrifying murderous aura. Family was something that Longao couldn't touch. No matter who it was, even if it was the Thunder Empire's crown prince. Zhao Hao, you're courting death. Ha ha ha, Longao. You dare to threaten the 3rd prince? Who do you think you are? I'll tell you clearly now. Kneel down and hand over the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit. Otherwise, your family will pay the price. Zhang Jun's face was full of contempt. He continued, Longao, don't think that the rank 4 Long family will help you. Let me tell you, in front of the Thunder Empire, you're nothing, including your family. Clenching his fists, Longao's face was gloomy. At this moment, his body was filled with murderous aura. At this moment, Longao finally understood what Hao Chao said. Whether it was Ouyang Fei or the Nebula Kingdom, they were insignificant in front of the Thunder Empire. Even if Ouyang Fei wanted to help him, he was powerless. It was precisely because of this that Longao deeply realized that his strength was still far from enough. Longao knew that when his family wasn't fully protected, he would always have his hands tied. Seeing that Longao didn't speak, Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun sneered. Zhao Hao said, "Longao, I know you are not convinced, but let me give you a piece of advice. A wise man submits to circumstances. Shut up and die." Horrifying killing intent covered the sky and covered the earth. Longao's figure had already moved. Jiang Jun and Zhao Hao were shocked, because the two of them had never imagined that the other party would suddenly make a move. The two one-line sky martial artists behind them also followed. With two one-line sky martial artists joining forces, under normal circumstances, it was impossible for Longao to be a match for the other party. But the current situation was completely different. Longao's palms moved, using the Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, heart-devouring ice, and even the soul-subduing seal. It was obvious that Longao was going for the kill. Kacha, kacha. Longao's speed was too fast. The two Xiantian martial artists didn't even have the chance to react before they were directly killed by Longao's palm. Seeing the two one-line sky martial artists killed in a single move, both Jiang Jun and Zhao Hao were shocked. How could they dare to stay any longer? They turned around and prepared to leave. But would Longao let them go? Brother Long, forget it. Longao, who already had the intention to kill, was forcibly stopped by Lu Feng. He could only watch as the two left, disappearing into the crowd. The surrounding onlookers were all excited when they saw the sorry state of Jiang Jun and Zhao Hao. There were even some people who were constantly clapping and cheering. This was the result of the pests. Brother Lu, Brother Long, come with me. Looking at Lu Feng in front of him, Longao was incomparably shocked. He could clearly sense that Lu Feng's strength was far beyond his own. It wasn't an evolution at all, nor was it even a fusion. Could it be that he was a unification expert? Longao had an intuition that if he were to face Lu Feng, he would have no chance of winning. This was the biggest difference between the realms. In the auction house, Brother Long, you are too reckless. Provoking Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun is not a wise move. Even if you don't think for yourself, you have to think for the family behind you. Nodding, Longao also knew that he was indeed a little impulsive. If he were to kill Jiang Jun and Zhao Hao, the consequences would be unimaginable. Big Brother Lu, Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun threaten my family. If I don't kill them, who knows if they will do something to my family? Brother Long, I know you are worried. You are now separated from the Nebula Protector Hall. Once the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 major families deal with you or your family, you will be too far away. Although Lu Feng did not finish his words, the meaning in his words was very clear. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he understood. After thinking for a while, he asked, Brother Lu, do you have a way? Nodding, Lu Feng said, Brother Long, I am already embarrassed to talk about this matter, but the situation has already reached this point. For now, there is only one way, and that is for you to join the auction house. With the deterrence of my auction house, I believe that even the Thunder Imperial family will not dare to deal with you and your family easily. Join the auction house? With the precedent of the National Protector Hall, Longao was really unwilling to join the auction house. Even if the Thunder Imperial family was afraid of the auction house now, what about in the future? If he were to meet other forces, or the Thunder Imperial family who insisted on dealing with him, would the auction house still support him? The answer was definitely no. Because of this, Longao did not even think about it and said, Brother Lu, to tell you the truth, from now on, I will not join any forces. I hope Brother Lu can understand. However, I will not forget Brother Lu's kindness. As if he had already guessed it, Lu Feng smiled and said, Brother Long, don't worry. Even if you don't join the auction house, I promise you here that I will protect the Long family. Even if it is the Thunder Imperial family, I will not let the Long family lose a single hair. Hearing this, Longao said gratefully, "Thank you, Brother Lu." With the help of Lu Feng and the auction house, Longao could finally breathe a sigh of relief. He wasn't worried about himself now, but his family. Once Xiao Hao and Jiang Jun went crazy and attacked his family, the consequences would be unimaginable. After chatting with Lu Feng for a while, Longao left the auction house. But at this time, a young man who looked like a servant walked over and said, "You are Longao?" Chapter 91. Yes. Do you need something? Someone told me to give you this letter. Longao didn't even have time to ask before the other party turned and left. This again? Longao opened the letter and gave it a cursory glance. His face was expressionless as he tore the letter apart. Smiling helplessly, he walked away. The auction house was very powerful in Thunder City because it had branches all over the Martial Sky continent. Because of this, even the Thunder Imperial family was wary of the auction house. The auction house's Lu Feng personally went to the Thunder Imperial family. Under heavy pressure, the third prince gave up on dealing with the Scarlet Fire Town's Long family. However, he swore that he wouldn't let Longao off. 10 days later, the Thunder battle held by the Thunder Empire officially began. The 320 Imperial protectors from the 32 kingdoms, the Thunder Empire Protector Hall, and a few scattered Xiantian experts made up a total of 400 people. What kind of concept was this? The so-called Battle of Thunder was equivalent to a total of 400 Xiantian martial artists. Half of them had reached the evolution boundary, and the remaining half were one-line sky martial artists. As for the 100 scatter sky martial artists, they did not have the qualifications to participate in the Battle of Thunder. Longao had decided to represent himself and his family to participate in the Thunder battle. The Star Cloud Protector Hall was very dissatisfied with this, but they didn't say anything. When the news of Longao leaving the Star Cloud Protector Hall reached the Star Cloud Kingdom, Tang Lin and Ouyang Feng didn't say anything. Longao already knew that the Star Cloud Kingdom had given up on him. There was nothing wrong with putting one's own safety before others. Because of this, Longao didn't have the slightest complaint. The only thing he was worried about was his family. Outside the Thunder Forest, all the people from the 32 kingdoms and the Thunder Empire had entered the Thunder Forest. As for the rules of the Thunder battle, it was very simple. They had to kill their opponents and obtain their spirit tokens. The 32 kingdoms, the Thunder Empire, and the scattered Xiantian experts all had a spirit token. At the end of the Thunder battle, they would be ranked according to the number of spirit tokens they had. The Thunder battle would last for 10 days. After 10 days, everyone, regardless of life or death, would gather outside the Thunder Forest. Every year, besides the Imperial protectors of the Thunder Empire and the 32 kingdoms, there were also many scattered warriors who participated in the Battle of Thunder, all for the sake of making a name for themselves. Especially if he entered the top 10 of the Thunder battle, his name would instantly shake the world. Longao knew very well that he was no longer the Imperial protector of the Nebula National Guard Hall. He was alone. Therefore, he had to be on guard at all times in this Thunder battle. He had to be extremely alert. Just as he stepped into the Thunder Forest, Longao ran into some old acquaintances, the 9 people from Star Cloud Kingdom. This time, because of his departure, Star Cloud Kingdom, which originally had 10 people participating, could only send 9. Longao, you are really arrogant. You dare to participate in the Thunder battle alone? I advise you to leave. Otherwise, you won't even know how you died. Yu Wei's face was filled with disdain as he continued speaking in a strange tone. Oh right, I almost forgot. Some people are not afraid of death and think that they are invincible. Yu Wei, you are too much. Brother Hao, I know that you have a good relationship with Longao, but that is that. Longao almost caused our Nebula National Guard Hall to suffer. Just for this, he should apologize to us. Even if he kneels down, it wouldn't be too much. Hao Chao seemed to want to say something, but Longao waved his hand and sneered. He didn't say anything and just looked at Yu Wei coldly. For some unknown reason, Yu Wei shuddered at the thought of that. Longao, Yu Wei, you're usually handsome and charming. Everyone loves you and flowers bloom when they see you. But from what I see now, You're just AF asterisk king beast among scumbags, a scumbag among beasts. Longao, you dare to scold me? With a sneer, Longao said with a contemptuous smile, who do you think you are? I have already said that if you dare to provoke me again in the future, no matter who is protecting you, I will kill you without mercy. All of this is what you asked for. You can't blame others. Hearing this, Yue was shocked. He knew his opponent's character the best. If Longao really went crazy, he wouldn't be able to resist. However, Yue wasn't worried. In any case, he still had the National Guard Hall's Deputy Hall Master, Luo Cheng, who was a fusion expert. Could his opponent defeat Luo Cheng? The Battle of Thunder clearly stated that regardless of whether it was the 32 Kingdoms or the Thunder Empire, they could only send one fusion expert. In this way, there would not be more than 30 fusion experts entering the Thunder Forest, including the scattered fusion experts. After all, among the 32 kingdoms, not every kingdom had a fusion expert. Longao, I don't believe that you dare to kill me here. Ha ha ha, Yue, I, Longao, swear that if I don't kill you, I am not a human. Longao, you are too presumptuous. Luo Cheng, who had been silent all this time, said with a gloomy face. As the National Guard Hall's Deputy Hall Master and a fusion expert, Yue didn't put him in his eyes at all. Luo Cheng, do you mean to side with Yue? In any case, Longao had entered the National Guard Hall before an Ouyang Fei had treated him well. It was precisely because of this that unless it was a last resort, Longao didn't want to fall out with the National Guard Hall. Chapter 92. Longao had already made up his mind to kill Yu Cheng, regardless of the consequences. Impudent. Luo Cheng was furious. He never thought that the other party would actually kill Yue in front of him. Wasn't Longao looking down on him? As a fusion expert, Luo Cheng's strength could be imagined, but Longao simply wouldn't choose to meet force with force with force. Although Longao had full confidence in his own strength, he knew his own limits. It was precisely because of this that Longao held the blood-sucking wild saber in his hand and used the Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes and Icebound Heart Devouring to attack Yue directly. Now, Longao was no longer the State Protector of the State Protector Hall, so other than Hao Chao, everyone moved. 1 against 8. If it was really 1 against 8, Longao definitely wouldn't be a match for the 8 of them. But Longao only had one goal, and that was to kill Yue. So he simply wouldn't choose to meet force with the 8 of them. Soul-subduing seal, the first seal of the destruction seal. Without any sound, Longao continuously used 8 soul-subduing seals. Whether it was Yue's group of 7 or Luo Cheng, their faces instantly changed. They immediately mobilized all the strength in their body to resist this strange and mysterious power. Soul-subduing seal, aside from being powerful, was even more powerful in that it was silent and could even erode the soul. It was precisely because of this that even Luo Cheng was careless and had his soul eroded by the soul-subduing seal. The consequences were unimaginable. Such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, how could Longao easily give it up? The blood-devouring blade in his hand fiercely chopped down at Yue. The shocking blade light was like a bolt of lightning, and no one could resist it because at this moment, Luo Cheng and the others were using all their strength to resist the strange power that was eroding their soul. Longao, you can't kill me. Longao, if you dare to kill me, my big brother will definitely not let you go. Longao completely ignored Yue. A shocking saber light instantly slashed out, directly severing Yue's saber. Pacha. Even in a situation where 7 great experts and Luo Cheng were present, Yue was still killed. Looking at everything that happened in front of him, Hao Chao seemed to be a little dumbfounded. Both of his eyes stared at Longao, because until now, Hao Chao did not dare to imagine that Longao could kill Yue under the cooperation of 8 experts. After killing Yue, Longao did not continue to attack. According to this situation, as long as Longao wanted to, he could kill the others at any time. This was the power of the soul-suppressing seal. By the time everyone had gotten rid of the strange energy in their bodies, all that was left of Yue was a corpse. The faces of Luo Cheng and the others were as ugly as they could be. They were extremely gloomy. Long Ao had killed Yue right under his nose. Did Long Ao even put him in his eyes? Long Ao, you have gone too far. Humph, Luocheng, I have said it before. If Yue dares to provoke me again, I will kill him without mercy. He is the one who is looking for death. What does it have to do with me? Luocheng, the bully will be bullied. I hope you know what to do. Too lazy to continue talking to the other party, Long Ao turned and left. Hall Master Luo, are we just going to let it go like this? Mao Feng, Tongbo, Hao Jiangjun, Yirong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan still had lingering fear at this moment because the strange energy that had just eroded them was really terrifying. Once Long Ao took advantage of it, the consequences would be unimaginable. But even so, do they really want to let Long Ao go? These people were not fools. According to Long Ao's talent and potential, as well as his current strength, if he was given time to develop, who could stop him in a few years? Waving his hand, Luocheng did not want to let Long Ao go, but he was not a fool. He knew in his heart that it was not easy to keep Long Ao. He was afraid that the National Guard Hall would have to pay a high price. Hao Chao, why didn't you take action when dealing with Long Ao just now? Luocheng pointed his finger at Hao Chao because among the 9 people, only Hao Chao did not take action against Long Ao. What did this mean? Hearing Luocheng's words, the other 7 people all looked at Hao Chao. Their eyes were cold, and their faces were full of murderous intent. With a cold snort, Hao Chao, as the 4th person in the National Guard Hall and a peak evolution martial artist, was not afraid of the crowd at all. He snorted coldly, Hall Master Luo, you know me well. I will say what I want to say. Long Ao has been pushed out of the National Guard Hall by you, but what about you? Without giving anyone a chance to speak, Hao Chao continued, Yue was defeated by Brother Long, and he kept looking for trouble. Not to mention Brother Long, even if I encountered this matter, I would kill Yue. No matter what you do, I won't do that. Be kind. Hearing Hao Chao's words, everyone was speechless because what Hao Chao said was true. They had no chance to refute. Although they knew what Hao Chao said was right, when they thought about how Long Ao killed Yue in front of them, they felt a kind of anger that had nowhere to vent. Heavily snorting, Tongbo said angrily, Brother Hao, what you said is wrong. No matter what, Long Ao is no longer a member of the National Guard Hall, but Yue is. Long Ao killed Yue in front of us. He did not put us in his eyes at all. I want to ask you, are you still a member of the National Guard Hall? Hao Chao knew what Tongbo meant. He sneered and said, Tongbo, you don't need to trick me. I won't fall for it. If you want, I can also leave the National Guard Hall. Hao Chao, you said it yourself. We did not force you. At this point, Luocheng also knew that Hao Chao must be eliminated. Otherwise, Hao Chao would become a big problem for him. In fact, there were also factions in the Nebula National Guard Hall. Luocheng, as the Vice Hall Master of the Nebula National Guard Hall, naturally wanted to be the Hall Master. However, because of Tang Lin, he had not been able to achieve it for so many years. Because of this, Luocheng had been trying to develop his own force for so many years. This time, the 7 people he brought were all his men, including Yue. That was why Luocheng was so angry when Yue was killed by Long Ao. Not for one's own use. Cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. Well, in this case, there is no point for me to continue to stay here. From now on, I, Hao Chao, officially leave the National Guard Hall. Goodbye. Wait, Hao Chao, you are no longer a member of the National Guard Hall. That means we are enemies. Hand over the spirit token in your hand. Considering that we have been together for so many years, we can let you go. Hao Chao despised Luocheng and the others in his heart. How could he not know what Luocheng meant? Yue's spirit token had been taken away by Long Ao. Now that he had left the National Guard Hall, he believed that Luocheng would not let him go. However, could he hand over the spirit token? If he lost the spirit token, even if he could seize all the spirit tokens, he would still not be able to be ranked. Chapter 93. Because of this, Hao Chao certainly wouldn't hand over his soul order. Goodbye. You want to leave? Not so easy. Mao Feng, Tongbo, Hao Jiangjun, Yi Rong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan. The 6 evolved experts quickly attacked, surrounding Hao Chao with murderous intent. Hao Chao's face was also a little ugly. After all, in a 1 versus 7 situation, the consequences could be imagined. Kill. With a roar, the 6 people rushed forward frantically. In a blink of an eye, the 7 people had already engaged in a fierce battle, and Luo Cheng was on the periphery. In other words, Hao Chao would definitely die now. After all, in addition to the 6 people, there was still a fusion master. Could Hao Chao escape from Luo Cheng's hands smoothly? Brother Hao, let me help you. A shocking saber light slashed down instantly. Longao held the blood-sucking saber and had joined the battle. Longao's strength could be imagined. Coupled with Hao Chao, the 2 of them were almost at a disadvantage against the 6 people. Instead, they had the upper hand. Regarding this, the 6 people were taken aback. They didn't dare to be careless and attacked with all their strength. Presumptuous, Luo Cheng roared. If the 2 of them were to escape this time, where would his face be? It was precisely because of this that Luo Cheng did not care about his identity as the Vice Hall Master and instantly joined the battle. However, Longao and Hao Chao fiercely forced the 6 of them to retreat and quickly turned around to leave. Hallmaster Luo, what should we do now? Waving his hand, Luo Cheng's face was gloomy. Humph. I don't believe that they can leave the Thunder Forest alive. Our top priority now is to seize the Soul Order. As for the 2 of them, it's not too late to deal with them later. Longao and Hao Chao ran all the way and stopped when they found that Luo Cheng and others didn't catch up. Brother Long, thank you very much this time. If you didn't help in time, I'm afraid I would have been torn apart by them. With a smile, Longao said, Brother Hao, you're welcome. You left the National Guard Hall for me, but Luo Cheng will definitely not let this go. You still have to be more careful. Brother Long, you're not coming with me? I like to be alone. Good brother, once you have trouble, I will rush over as soon as possible. Goodbye. Longao did not continue to talk and turned away. Outside a secluded valley. The moment Longao stepped into the valley, he felt a horrifying stench of blood. It filled the air and was exceptionally pungent. Not good. Longao was also shocked when he saw the huge blood-colored huge python that had suddenly appeared in the valley. The huge blood python had a total of 9 heads. Each head had a pair of icy green eyes that emitted a cold glow. 9-headed blood python was a natural spirit beast. Longao knew very well that the strength of the 9-headed blood python in front of him was definitely above Luo Cheng's. In other words, it was above the fusion stage. With his strength, would he be a match for the 9-headed blood python? Because of this, Longao turned around and prepared to leave. But could he leave? Roar. The 9 heads of the 9-headed blood python moved together and began to attack Longao crazily. He did not dare to be careless. The blood-drinking broadsword in his hand instantly slashed out. The 9 consecutive strikes of the underworld and the heart-devouring icebound, together with the soul-suppressing seal, smashed towards the 9-headed blood python fiercely. The defensive power of the 9-headed blood python was too strong. Longao's body was swept by the python's tail and instantly flew backwards. Plop. His body fell heavily on the ground, and he spat out blood. He was shocked. The strength of the 9-headed blood python was not something that he could resist. Longao directly used the dragon seal and smashed it towards the 9-headed blood python fiercely. The originally small dragon seal instantly became bigger as it was smashed out. He did not know if it was Long Fu's trick. The dragon seal smashed onto the 9-headed blood python fiercely, not giving it any chance at all. It directly smashed the 9-headed blood python to the ground. Looking at the 9-headed blood python that was smashed to death, Longao was completely dumbfounded. Although he knew that the dragon seal was not simple, he did not expect that such a strong 9-headed blood python would be smashed to death by the dragon seal. Master, the dragon seal is the nemesis of the 9-headed blood python. If it were other spiritual beasts, I would not be able to do anything. However, the 9-headed blood python is very strong. Once you refine it, it will be enough for you to make a breakthrough. Hearing this, Longao was delighted. His desolate saint physique had always been his sore point. The strongest physique was also the most useless physique. If he wanted to make a breakthrough, he would need a huge amount of strength. Now, the nine-headed blood python was a good opportunity. Longao did not hesitate. He immediately sat down cross-legged and circulated the 9-cycle reincarnation technique in his body. As Long Fu said, the dragon seal was the nemesis of the 9-headed blood python. It was extremely easy to refine it. In fact, Longao originally wanted to let Long Fu refine the 9-headed blood python into a soul slave. According to the strength of the 9-headed blood python, once it was refined into a soul slave, its strength would be very strong. Even if he encountered Luo Cheng, he believed that he would not have to be afraid. However, after thinking about it, Longao still decided to refine it. He wanted to increase his strength first. With the power of the 9-headed blood python being refined, the mysterious heavenly 9 changes had reached the 9th change in an instant. He was only one step away from officially breaking through the first cycle of the 9-cycle reincarnation technique. However, this one step was like an insurmountable gap that could not be crossed. Feeling a huge amount of power continuously flowing into his body, Longao was delighted. He did not give up this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He immediately used this power to evolve the 108 acupuncture points in his body. He had to admit that the soul of the 9-headed blood python was indeed very strong. After being refined, it was like a water column that crazily flowed into Longao's body. In just half an hour, the 108 acupuncture points in Longao's body were completely filled with this powerful power. In addition to the power that had already been condensed, at this moment, a loud sound came from Longao's body. He had officially broken through from the one-line sky realm to the evolution realm. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew that if it was not for the 9-headed blood python, he would have needed a long time and a lot of power to break through from the one-line sky realm to the evolution realm. Although his cultivation had successfully broken through to the evolution realm, Longao did not stop there. This was because Long Fu had refined the 9-headed blood python and obtained 1/3 of its power. Taking advantage of this huge power, he might be able to break through to the fusion realm in one fell swoop. In the fusion realm, fusing the power into the spiritual power. It seemed simple, but it was actually very difficult. A huge amount of power crazily flowed into Longao's body. The evolution realm, which was about to break through to the evolution realm, increased at an incomparably fast speed. It only stopped when it reached the peak evolution realm. Peak evolution realm. He was pleasantly surprised. Although he did not reach the fusion realm as he had expected, breaking through to the peak evolution realm was definitely a very good thing. At this moment, Longao was full of confidence. According to his current strength, even if he encountered Luo Cheng, he would definitely be able to fight. Taking a deep look at the little fellow in his arms, Longao said with a doting smile, "From now on, you will follow me. You are my family. I will now give you a name. You will follow my surname. From now on, you will be called Long Chong. I hope you can become stronger in the future." As if it could hear Longao's words, the little guy couldn't stop giggling. He was very satisfied with his name. "From now on, I will call you Xiao Chong. Xiao Chong, smile for your brother. Zhi Zhi." 2 hours later, Longao left the valley. This time, he had killed the 9-headed blood python and devoured spiritual energy to increase his cultivation, breaking through to the peak evolution realm. This was something that Longao never expected. In the following days, Longao hunted others everywhere and seized soul tokens. This was because Longao clearly knew that in the thunder battle, there were no friends, only enemies. Being merciful to the enemy was being cruel to oneself. It was precisely because of this that Longao didn't have the slightest bit of mercy. No matter who it was, as long as there was an opportunity, he would immediately attack without mercy. After breaking through to the evolution realm, not to mention one-line sky martial artists and evolution realm martial artists, even if he encountered a fusion martial artist, Longao would still have the strength to fight. However, unless it was a last resort, Longao wasn't willing to face a fusion martial artist. After killing 3 one-line sky martial artists and obtaining 3 soul tokens, Longao was preparing to continue looking for other prey. At this time, a burst of fighting sounds came from not far away, and wild auras scattered in all directions. Out of curiosity, Longao shot towards the direction of the fighting sounds. After a while, he saw a beautiful girl being besieged by more than 20 flaming tigers. Scarlet flaming tigers were Xiantian spiritual beasts. Their strength was equivalent to a fusion martial artist. More than 20 scarlet flaming tigers meant more than 20 fusion martial artists. Seeing the beautiful girl being besieged by more than 20 scarlet flaming tigers, Longao was shocked. Without a doubt, the beautiful girl was 100% a fusion martial artist. Just looking, Longao didn't intend to help because there was a thunder battle going on in the Thunder Forest. Who knew who the other party was? He didn't want to treat his good intentions as ill intent. However, even though Longao didn't want to help, someone was forcing him to. Unknowingly, a scarlet flaming tiger had appeared behind Longao. With the strength of a fusion martial artist, its body emitted a cold aura. Its eyes coldly stared at Longao, and it approached step by step, ready to attack at any time. F***CK Longao cursed fiercely. Things had already come to this point, and he had no other choice. He didn't fight with the scarlet flaming tiger in front of him. Instead, he turned and shot towards the beautiful girl. Before he arrived, his terrifying aura arrived first. Longao was not a fool, and he also knew his limits. With his strength, not to mention facing more than 20 scarlet flaming tigers at the same time, even if 2 scarlet flaming tigers joined forces, it would be extremely difficult for him to deal with them. Precisely because of this, Longao knew that if he wanted to leave smoothly, he had to end the battle quickly. Once he delayed, the consequences would be unimaginable. Soul-suppressing seal. Longao used more than 20 soul-suppressing seals at the same time, silently invading the bodies of the scarlet flaming tigers. Firstly, the scarlet flaming tigers were attacking the beautiful girl with all their strength, and their attention was not on Longao. Secondly, the scarlet flaming tigers didn't even put Longao in their eyes. A mere evolved martial artist human, in the eyes of more than 20 scarlet flaming tigers, was nothing. Due to their carelessness, the 20 scarlet flaming tigers that were attacking the beautiful girl with all their strength suddenly had a change in expression. They immediately used all their strength to resist the mysterious power in their bodies. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As long as Longao wanted to, he could leave at any time, but Longao didn't choose to leave. "Are you crazy? Hurry up and leave with me." Hearing the beautiful girl's words, Longao staggered and almost fell. However, the current situation didn't allow him to be careless. The dragon seal appeared in his hand, and he directly smashed it towards the scarlet flaming tigers. Kacha! Kacha! The dragon seal didn't succeed in killing the scarlet flaming tigers, and at this time, Longao's body also rushed out. He arrived in front of a scarlet flaming tiger and quickly sent out a palm. Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. 9 fist energies continuously overlapped, and in an instant, the fist energies smashed onto the scarlet flaming tiger's head. Chapter 95. The scarlet flame tiger was first silently invaded by the soul-suppressing seal. Then Longao's palm landed on the top of its head. Under these 2 attacks, its body fiercely fell to the ground. He immediately rejoiced in his heart. Longao immediately threw out the dragon seal and absorbed the scarlet flame tiger's soul into the dragon seal space. Longao had already calculated the time accurately. In a few seconds, he had killed 3 scarlet flame tigers and obtained the souls of the 3 scarlet flame tigers. Let's go. The remaining scarlet flame tigers had already eliminated the energy corrosion in their bodies. Each of them stared with cold eyes and directly chased after them. Longao and the girl madly ran for half an hour. After discovering that they had completely shaken off the scarlet flame tigers, the 2 of them let out a sigh of relief and sat down on the ground. At this moment, Longao carefully sized up the girl beside him. Coldly snorting, the girl fiercely glared and angrily said, What are you looking at? Stinking rogue. Stinking rogue? I've become a stinking rogue? Being scolded by the other party, Long Ao's face instantly turned cold and said, "Are you sick? I just saved you. It's fine if you don't even say thank you, but you actually scolded me as a stinking rogue. Is there something wrong with your head?" If it was an ordinary man, seeing such a beautiful young girl's appearance, he would have long been charmed to the point of losing his spirit. However, Long Ao's heart was completely filled with Yu-in. Therefore, he did not have the slightest intention of being moved by any woman. "You dare scold me? What did you just scold me for? If you have the ability, try scolding me again." Long Ao's temper was not very good. He had risked his life to save the other party. It was fine if the other party did not thank him, but now, she actually turned the tables on him. "I just said that you're sick, that there's something wrong with your head. I'm really King annoyed to save you. Goodbye." "Wanna leave?" Coldly snorting, the beautiful girl had already scurried away. Before she arrived, a terrifying killing intent had already arrived. Startled, Long Ao had just stood up when he was attacked by his opponent. He countered with a punch, Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. In an instant, 9 fist energies overlapped. Palm and fist collided. Before Long Ao could react, he was already pushed back by his opponent. Long Ao was shocked. He never thought that the other party would be so strong. Long Ao was confident that even if he encountered a fusion martial artist, he would be able to fight and even kill the other party with the help of the soul-suppressing seal. But at this moment, Long Ao had a feeling that the other party's strength seemed to have reached the peak of the fusion stage. Unless the soul-suppressing seal silently invaded the other party's body, it was almost impossible to kill the other party. Soul-suppressing seal. Long Ao didn't use the soul-suppressing seal. No matter what, the other party was still a girl, and she didn't do anything wrong. If he really killed the other party, he would feel bad in his heart. "I won't haggle with you. Sick women have bad tempers." Hearing this, the beautiful girl's face turned red. She roared and chased after him. The two of them ran one after the other. Long Ao never thought that things would turn out like this. He originally wanted to save someone, but what about now? The person he saved turned around and chased after him. If he couldn't win, he would run. Long Ao didn't use the soul-suppressing seal. There seemed to be no other way except to run. Inside the Thunder Forest. Look, a fusion martial artist chasing an evolution martial artist. This person is really unlucky. We'd better not intervene. A fusion martial artist is too terrifying. Long Ao and the beautiful girl were chasing after each other. No one dared to intervene because the powerful aura exuded by the beautiful girl had indicated that the beautiful girl was a fusion martial artist. Fusion martial artist. In this Thunder Forest battle, there were more than 400 participants, and there were a total of 30 fusion martial artists. This meant that among the 400 post-celestial martial artists, fusion martial artists were the strongest. Because of this, no one was willing to provoke a fusion martial artist. Outside a secluded valley in the Thunder Forest, being chased by the beautiful girl, Long Ao didn't even look at his surroundings. He ran all the way here. When he saw the huge valley, he didn't even think twice before darting in. "Stupid hooligan. No matter where you run to, I'll kill you." With a furious roar, the beautiful girl followed him into the valley with a murderous aura. In the blink of an eye, the two of them disappeared from the valley. In the valley, black fog lingered, and there was even an oddly pungent smell. The moment Long Ao stepped into the valley, his face darkened. He could feel that something was wrong in the valley. However, with someone chasing after him, he couldn't leave the valley at all. Boo-hoo-hoo, boo-hoo-hoo, boo-hoo-hoo. From the depths of the valley came a series of ghostly wails. The moment he heard it, Long Ao channeled the energy within his body to resist against the ghostly wails. This unpleasant sound was similar to the soul-suppressing seal, able to corrode one's soul. Shocked, Long Ao couldn't care less about anything else and resisted with all his might. The beautiful girl arrived in the blink of an eye. When she saw the stinking hooligan in her heart, she roared and stabbed her sharp sword towards him. It was obvious that the beautiful girl really wanted to kill him. She didn't show any mercy. The sharp sword shot out terrifying sword chi, one after another, arriving in an instant. With a backhand palm, Longao didn't dare to use his body to block the sword chis. Even though he tried to dodge, he was still injured by the sword chis. But at this moment, Longao couldn't care less. The power of the sound was way too strong. If he wasn't careful, he would be corroded by the sound, and the consequences would be unimaginable. The beautiful young lady, who was just about to continue attacking, also noticed that something was wrong before she could do anything. The sound invaded her body and corroded her soul. Perhaps it was due to her anger that the beautiful young lady, who should have been able to resist it, was overwhelmed by her anger. Coupled with the eerie sound corroding her soul, she fainted. Looking at the beautiful girl fainting, Longao really wanted to ignore her. But at the end of the day, Longao was still a man. This wasn't to say that Longao was lustful. It was just that he couldn't bear to see a girl die in front of him. With no other choice, Longao darted over with the beautiful girl. Not only did he have to resist the corrosion of the sound, he also had to help the beautiful girl resist the corrosion of the figure. Longao didn't stay where he was. He brought the beautiful girl and ran out of the valley. Plop! At this time, Longao and the beautiful girl fell into a black pit together. In an instant, the two of them disappeared without a trace. The valley was still shrouded in black fog, and it was still wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves. Chapter 96. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Inside the huge cave, water droplets continuously dripped down from the ceiling. The entire cave was supported by 8 stone pillars, and the surrounding walls were engraved with some diagrams, one after another. Yes, groaning in pain, Aoshue struggled to lift her eyelids. She opened her eyes and struggled to get up from the ground. She shook her head and tried to clear her head. "You're awake? Damn hooligan. I'm going to kill you." Aoshue, who was just about to attack, suddenly let out a painful roar. She sat down on the ground again, her face full of pain. "I advise you to save your strength." Longao had already woken up, but he had suffered a heavy fall, so he could only recover from his injuries first. After a few hours of rest, he was more or less able to move. Longao stood up and stretched his body. Then, he walked towards the eastern stone wall. He wanted to see what kind of patterns were carved on the surrounding stone walls. "Damn pervert! What did you do to me?" At this moment, Aoshue screamed in horror. Could it be? Could it be? Aoshue didn't dare to think further. Pain and despair were written all over her face. She believed that no matter which woman it was, she would not be able to face such a thing. Longao, who had already walked out, sighed deeply. He turned around and said apologetically, "I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I can only tell you that I had no choice." "Damn hooligan. You actually took advantage of the fact that I was unconscious too." "I didn't. Both our souls have been corroded by the mysterious voice. I believe you should know what happened. I hope you won't be unreasonable." "I'm unreasonable?" Aoshue closed his eyes. The anger and murderous intent on his face were like an erupting volcano. Letting out another deep sigh, Longao did not know what to do. It turned out that their souls had been corroded by the mysterious voice, and after falling into the cave, they had a muddle-headed relationship. When Longao woke up, he found that both of them were not wearing any clothes, and he understood what had happened. It was precisely because of this that Longao endured the waves of pain coming from his body. Longao shook his head helplessly. Even now, he still felt somewhat depressed. Why did he get himself into such big trouble for no reason? Without continuing to dwell on this issue, Longao came before the stone wall and observed the patterns carved on it. Inside the cave, there were a total of 12 patterns carved on the walls in the 4 directions of north, south, east, and west. The patterns carved on the walls could not be understood at all. However, Longao had a feeling that if he stared at the patterns for a long time, the patterns would emit a power that would invade his soul. Shocked, he didn't dare to continue looking at the 12 diagrams. However, at this moment, Longao dodged to the side, brushing past the ice-cold sword chi. Longao didn't even need to turn around to know what had happened. Perhaps it was because he felt guilty, but Longao didn't dodge the next attack and was hit by Aoshua's palm. With a muffled groan, Longao's body flew backwards and crashed into the wall with a loud bang. Aoshua seemed to be in a daze because it had never expected that the other party wouldn't dodge. However, when it thought of its body being invaded by the other party, Aoshua had the urge to kill the other party. I saved your life before, and now I've suffered a palm strike from you. The two of us are even. If you dare to attack again, I won't be polite. Humph, with just you? Aoshua's face was filled with disdain and contempt because to Aoshua, evolving into a martial artist wasn't a big deal. After all, for martial artists, the difference in realms couldn't be made up with other things. Longao stood up with difficulty. His body was already in pain, and now that he had suffered another palm strike, he felt as if his entire body was about to fall apart. The pain was so excruciating that it was as if a dozen people were using sharp knives to continuously slash his body. You stinking pervert, how dare you defile my body? If I don't kill you today, I'm not human. Wait, you have to be clear about something. You, Aoshua, seemed to be very angry, her body trembling as she scolded. Are you a man or not? You dare to do it, but you don't dare to admit it. You can only be a stinking pervert. I really despise you. Dare to do it, but don't dare to admit it? Stinking pervert? Today, I'll show you what a real stinking pervert is. Being always scolded as a stinking rogue by the other party, Longao was also a little angry. He shot out from the left side. Before he arrived, the soul-suppressing seal had already arrived. Aoshua, who was originally incomparably angry, didn't even have time to react before he was already invaded by a mysterious force and began to corrode his soul. Shocked, Aoshua didn't dare to be careless. She immediately channeled all the energy in her body to resist the force that was corroding her soul. But at this moment, Longao had already arrived beside Aoshua. Without waiting for Aoshua to react, he carried Aoshua over. The reason why Longao was able to succeed so easily was because Aoshua was heavily injured and angry. Otherwise, the soul-suppressing seal alone wouldn't be able to control Aoshua. Woo-woo-woo, woo-woo. Longao didn't care about Aoshua's cries at all. In Longao's heart, he was only cursing in his heart. King called me a stinking pervert again. Big Brother was kind enough to save you, and you called me a stinking pervert. Just like that, Longao beat Aoshua for 3 minutes until he was out of breath. Then, he finally stopped. Stinking pervert, stinking pervert. You still dare to call me a stinking pervert, I'll let you. Once again, Longao beat Aoshua fiercely. This time, he beat Aoshua fiercely for a full 10 minutes, almost suffocating it. Stinking pervert, stinking pervert. Every time Aoshua scolded, Longao beat Aoshua for a few minutes, then Longao scolded again, then beat Aoshua for a few more minutes. Just like that, after a few times, Aoshua finally became completely obedient, but her vicious eyes were still staring at Longao. Letting go of Aoshua, Longao said unhappily, "Let me tell you, don't think that I'm easy to bully. You and I didn't want to do anything between us, but I'm a fair person, and I'll take responsibility for you." Chapter 97. Responsibility. Longao wasn't a playboy, and he was absolutely loyal to Yuan. But there was always a chance. Whether he was willing or not, he had taken her body. Since that was the case, he had to be responsible for her. Responsibility? You want to be responsible for me? You don't have to look down on me. I know your identity isn't simple, but I'll ask you one last time. Do you need me to be responsible? Longao wasn't a fool. The other party had broken through to the peak of the fusion realm at such a young age. Her identity and background were definitely not simple. Moreover, the other party's arrogance was obviously not simple. No, you don't need to be responsible for my death. Stinky. Just as Aoshua cursed, Longao glared at her. After being beaten for dozens of minutes, Aoshua was afraid that the other party would continue to beat her. Woo-woo, you bully me. Woo-woo-woo-woo. Looking at the crying girl, Longao didn't know what to do for a moment. He would rather fight with an expert than see a girl cry, especially a girl he was about to be responsible for. Longao had decided that no matter who was right or wrong, he would be responsible. As a man, he should dare to do and be responsible. Longao didn't know how to coax the girl. He gently sat beside her and looked at her quietly. After crying for a long time, Aoshue finally stopped. Half of her anger had disappeared. She suddenly asked, "Stinky brat, what's your name?" The stinky hooligan had become a stinky brat. Longao smiled helplessly and didn't continue to bicker with the girl. He said, "My name is Longao. I'm from the Long family of Scarlet Fire Town." If it was the old Longao, he would definitely add the word Star Cloud Kingdom in front of the Scarlet Fire Town. However, ever since he left the National Guard Hall, Longao only said the Scarlet Fire Town's Long Clan, not Star Cloud Kingdom's Scarlet Fire Town's Long Clan. "You're from the Long family?" Aoshue seemed to be surprised. After all, the Long family had a powerful status in the Tianwu continent. However, the Long family had many branches, and there were 9 levels. So not all the branches of the Long family were powerful. "If you want, you can tell me your name and identity. I'll say it again. I won't deny what I've done to you. I'll be responsible for you, whether you want it or not." "Humph. Who needs you to be responsible for me?" Aoshue's voice was very cold, but unlike before, she glared and said, "My name is Aoshue. Longao, let me tell you, today's matter, I will definitely not let it go. Just you wait." Since the other party was unwilling to mention his identity, Longao did not continue to ask. "I'll wait." "Humph. Where are we now?" Shrugging his shoulders, Longao also said helplessly, "I don't know. I just searched once. The entire cave is a dead end. There are no exits. However, there are 12 pictures carved on the 4 walls." "Pattern?" Aoshue seemed to be very curious. Resisting the pain in her body, Aoshue stood up and walked towards the wall in front of her. After taking a look, Aoshue's expression changed. She shouted in surprise, "I finally found it! I finally found it! Thank you, old ancestor! Thank you, old ancestor!" Looking at the crazy Aoshue, Longao was very curious. He asked, "Aoshue, what happened to you?" "Longao, I entered the Thunder Forest mainly to find these 12 patterns. After so many years, the sect couldn't find them. I didn't expect that I would find them. This is great. My Ghost King sect can finally rise." "Ghost King sect?" Hearing the Ghost King sect mentioned by Aoshue, Longao was shocked. He was certainly familiar with the Ghost King sect mentioned by Aoshue. The Ghost King sect was a super sect above the Thunder Empire. The Flowing Cloud sect was nothing in front of the Ghost King sect. It could be said that even the Thunder Empire didn't dare to provoke the Ghost King sect. This was the strength and foundation of the Ghost King sect. "Aoshue, are you a disciple of the Ghost King sect?" Aoshue seemed to have realized that she had said something wrong. She snorted and said, "Whether I am a disciple of the Ghost King sect or not, what does it have to do with you? Longao, let me tell you, you and I are irreconcilable." Somewhat helpless, Longao finally knew why Aoshue was so strong and proud. She turned out to be a disciple of the Ghost King sect. What's more, Longao could guess that Aoshue's status and identity in the Ghost King sect was definitely not simple. Otherwise, how could Aoshue reach the peak of the fusion realm at such a young age? Longao knew very well that a warrior's talent was far from enough. The full cultivation of the family, or the sect, was also incomparably important. Because of this, Longao was very sure that Aoshue's identity in the Ghost King sect was definitely not simple. "Aoshue, these 12 patterns belong to the Ghost King sect?" "Of course. These 12 patterns are a profound cultivation method and martial skill. It is the unique skill of the ancestor of the Ghost King sect. But for so many years, the ancestor's skill has been missing. No matter how hard we search, we can't find it." "The ancestor of the Ghost King sect?" Although Aoshue did not say it clearly, Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew how amazing the ancestor who could create the Ghost King sect was. In that case, the unique skill carved on the patterns must be extraordinary. Longao had just looked at the patterns carved on the stone wall, and found that he could not understand them at all. After looking at them for a long time, he felt a sense of shock in his heart. Longao, have you just seen the patterns on the stone wall? Longao did not hide anything. He nodded and admitted, yes, before you woke up, I did see the patterns carved on the stone wall, but I could not understand them. Not only that, I felt that my soul would be eroded by the power of the patterns. That's right. That's right. Longao was very depressed, but he did not say anything. After all, the 12 patterns in front of him must be extraordinary. Longao, are you very curious about the origin of these 12 patterns? Longao also did not hide anything and said, yes, I am very curious. If you're willing to tell me, I will be happy to listen. If not, it's okay. In any case, since the 12 patterns were the treasures of the Ghost King's sect, even if he was very curious, if Aoshue did not want to tell him, he would not ask more. The old ancestor of my Ghost King sect was an extremely talented individual. Back then, he relied on his own 2 hands to establish the foundation of the Ghost King sect. The 12 pictures you see are actually one picture. However, it was broken by the old ancestor back then because he was worried that this picture would fall into the hands of others. This picture is called the Endless Blood Sea. Chapter 98. Endless Blood Sea? What a domineering name. The 12 patterns were equivalent to one pattern, which could also be considered as a weapon. Aoshue, the patterns are engraved on the stone walls. Do you want to take away the surrounding walls? With regards to this point, Longao was very curious because the surrounding stone walls of the cave were connected to the entire cave. Wanting to take away the 12 pictures was simply an impossible thing. Seeming somewhat disappointed, Aoshue said, according to the sect's legends, the old ancestor had already merged the Endless Blood Sea diagram back then. Furthermore, it was hidden very deeply. If I am not wrong, the true Endless Blood Sea diagram is hidden in one of the 12 diagrams. Even Aoshue didn't know why she had to tell him these things. After thinking for a while, Longao asked, do you need my help? Waving his hand, Aoshue's expression suddenly became serious. He said helplessly, only one of the 12 patterns contains the real Endless Blood Sea map, so we must hit it with one blow. If we fail, all 12 patterns will disappear and our lives will be in danger. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he could hear the seriousness in Aoshue's words. Aoshue, do you have a way to identify which of the 12 patterns contains the real Endless Blood Sea map? Bloodline. Bloodline? After thinking for a while, Longao had already guessed Aoshue's method. Because of this, Longao was even more curious about Aoshue's identity. He did not know what Aoshue's identity was in the Ghost King sect. After taking a deep look at Longao, Aoshue suddenly sat on the ground, looked at the seat beside him, and said, do you want to hear about the Endless Blood Sea map? Longao nodded. Of course, he wanted to know. He came to Aoshue's side and sat down about 2 meters away. The Endless Blood Sea map is the most precious treasure of the Ghost King sect. It was obtained by the Great Ancestor by accident. The Great Ancestor spent a lot of effort and finally came up with a way to create a bloodline divine artifact. Only the direct bloodline of the Great Ancestor can open the Endless Blood Sea map. Aoshue, do you mean that you possess the bloodline of the Ghost King sect's ancestor? Since things had come to this point, Aoshue did not continue to hide it. She nodded and said, I do have the blood of the Great Ancestor in my body, but whether I can succeed is still unknown. After all, since the fall of the Great Ancestor, the Endless Blood Sea map has disappeared, and no one has gotten the Endless Blood Sea map. There was no need to ask. Longao already knew that Aoshue's status and identity in the Ghost King sect was definitely not simple. Since that's the case, why don't you give it a try and see the result? Nodding, Aoshue was also a little excited because she had finally found the most precious treasure of the Ghost King sect that had disappeared for so many years. If she gave it up, she would not even have the chance to regret it. Aoshue stood up and came to the first pattern. She released her bloodline and tried to communicate with the pattern in front of her. She shook her head. There was no aura. Aoshue knew that there was no real endless blood sea map in this pattern. In this way, Aoshue began to sense the patterns one by one. Until the 12th pattern was completely sensed, she still did not sense the aura of the real endless blood sea map. Could it be that there was no endless blood sea map in the 12 patterns? Aoshue, what's wrong? It's none of your business. Aoshue glared fiercely and sat on the ground gloomily. Her face was full of anger. Longao was a little stunned. He did not know what was wrong with Aoshue. He sighed deeply in his heart. Sigh, women, this is what women are like. A woman's heart is really like a needle at the bottom of the sea. You have no idea what a woman is thinking. Longao did not ask for a rebuff. He looked at the 12 patterns again, one after another. He studied them carefully, but still did not find anything. Even Aoshue's bloodline could not sense the real endless blood sea map. Longao knew that it would not be as easy to find the real endless blood sea map among the 12 patterns. Surprised, Longao's eyes suddenly fixed on the corner in front of him. There was a round turntable there. It was black and white, like the 8 trigrams. What are you shouting for? Can't you see that I'm thinking about something? Before Aoshue finished speaking, she had already discovered that in the direction Longao was looking at, she had also seen the circular turntable, especially the black and white 8 trigrams. What is this thing? Aoshue was very curious. However, Aoshue was not stupid. Of course, she knew that the round turntable was not ordinary. Just as Aoshue was about to attack, she was pulled back by Longao. Brat, you're taking advantage of me again. Longao could be said to be extremely speechless towards Aoshue. He loosened his hand and said seriously, Aoshue, this is no small matter. If I did not guess wrongly, this circular spinning should not be simple. It is best that you do not touch it. He took a deep look at the young man, and then at the roulette wheel. In the end, he came to a stop. Pouting her small mouth, Aoshue seemed to be very unhappy and said, I'm not listening to you. I also feel that something is wrong here. He smiled helplessly. At this moment, Longao's expression changed. He picked up Aoshue and ignored Aoshue's shocked and angry eyes. The two of them quickly left. Just as he left, a cold light was already shot out from the round turntable, brushing past his shoulder. The cold light shot onto the ground, creating a huge pit. Seeing this situation, no matter if it was Longao or Aoshue, their faces changed greatly. Longao, it's coming again. There was no need for Aoshue to remind him. Longao carried Aoshue and ran all the way. However, the speed of the cold light emitted from the circular roulette was simply too fast. It almost chased after the two of them. Every time, they brushed past each other. There were even a few times when the two of them were almost killed by the cold light. Longao was not stupid. Of course, he knew that if this continued, the two of them would be killed sooner or later. Therefore, he had to think of a way to get rid of the round turntable as soon as possible. Longao, what should we do now? Women were women. In an emergency situation, they still had to rely on men. At this moment, Longao could be said to be extremely depressed because there was no exit in the entire cave. He could only be chased by the cold light. It was unknown if it was because he was too anxious, but in his anxiety, Longao quickly shot towards the 6th pattern among the 12 patterns. Longao, are you crazy? Aoshue was shocked when she saw Longao running towards the stone wall. However, the situation was out of her control. Although Longao's realm was lower than hers, he was not weak at all. For some reason, Aoshue had a feeling that with her strength, she might not be able to defeat Longao. Chapter 99. Chihua Town, Long Family. Wang Yuan received the Millennium Thunder Fruit that Longao sent over. On the 3rd day, she had already woken up. Seeing Yuan wake up, everyone was pleasantly surprised. But at this time, a mysterious and powerful expert appeared in the Long family. A gray-haired old woman with a walking stick. Her face was full of wrinkles. She swayed as she walked, as if a gust of wind could blow her away. Seeing the old woman, Yu Yin's face lit up. She bowed and said, Master. You still know that I'm your master?
Master,
Yu'in was submissive. Wang Yu'in had always been afraid of this mysterious and powerful master. Especially last time, she didn't leave with her master. The old woman's face was cold. She coldly snorted and said, I don't know what's so good about that stinking brat that you actually gave up on the cultivation method that you've been cultivating for 10 years. Master, I'm sorry. After a deep sigh, the old woman suddenly said, I already know about your matter. Since this child is loyal, I'll let him go for now. Yu'in, the main reason why I came here is to prepare to take you away from Chihua Town. Wang Yu'in was shocked. She had never thought of leaving Chihua Town, leaving Longao. Seeing Yu'in hesitate, the old woman heavily snorted and said, Yu'in, if you don't come with me and are still as willful as last time, I'll immediately kill Longao. Master, don't. I'll ask you one last time. Are you coming with me or not? Wang Yu'in was very clear in her heart that her master was definitely a person who would do what he said. If she didn't agree, her master would really kill Longao. Helpless, Yu'in nodded and agreed. Master, I'll go with you. But you must promise me that no matter what, I won't continue to cultivate that cultivation method. For that stinking brat? I once promised him. Thus, even if I die, I will not cultivate again. Master, please forgive me. All right, but Yu'in, this time when you leave with me, you are not allowed to return for at least 3 years, or at most 10 years. But you can rest assured that this time, I will bring you to a place. When you see Longao again, you will have stepped into the ranks of the top experts. Woodenly nodding her head, Yu'in had no interest in the top masters at all. She said, Thank you, Master. Let's go. Master, I want to write a letter to Longao. No, I will tell the Long family about this. Let's go. Regardless of whether Wang Yu'in was willing or not, the old granny pulled Wang Yu'in's hand and disappeared without a trace. In the next moment, the head of the Long family, Long Haosher, received the news that Yu'in had been taken away by a mysterious expert. Although he was extremely unwilling in his heart, he was powerless to do anything. Not to mention whether or not this mysterious expert was Wang Yu'in's master. Just his strength alone was not something the Long family could compare to. Thunder Forest, inside the mysterious cave. Being constantly attacked by the circular wheel, Longao finally had no choice but to bring Aoshue to crash into the pattern on the wall. Aoshue was so scared that she did not know what was going on. Could it be that this stinking brat was being chased until he became stupid? Just when Aoshue thought that the two of them would be smashed into smithereens, the scene of the god equipment appeared. Not only did the two of them not smash into the wall, they even flashed past it and instantly disappeared into the wall. Stinking brat, what happened? Instead of crashing into the wall, Aoshue suddenly opened her eyes with a face full of surprise. This was because they had already passed through the wall and arrived in a stone room. There was a bed, a table, and a chair. Especially the pattern hanging on the wall, it was particularly eye-catching. Endless blood sea pattern? Before Longao could answer, Aoshue suddenly saw the pattern hanging on the wall. She quickly flew towards the wall, but Longao pulled her back. His voice was very serious as he said, Aoshue, calm down. Stinking brat, why did you stop me? Aoshue was very excited. She had not sensed any of the 12 patterns before, and now the endless blood sea pattern was right in front of her. Was she going to give up so easily? Aoshue, if I am not mistaken, this endless blood sea pattern must have offensive powers. Look. Longao took out a gold coin and threw it at the endless blood sea map on the wall. Before it touched the map, it was shot by the endless blood sea map. The gold coin turned into nothingness. Seeing this, Aoshue was shocked. She finally knew why Longao had stopped her. Aoshue, try and see if your blood can communicate with this endless blood sea pattern. Aoshue nodded. Of course, she knew what Longao meant. She stopped 2 meters away from the endless blood sea pattern and took a deep breath. Then, the blood in her body boiled as she tried to communicate with the endless blood sea pattern. In just a few seconds, Aoshue's face was full of joy. She nodded and said excitedly, My blood can sense the call of the endless blood sea pattern. This is great. This is great. Communicated? Longao did not feel the slightest bit excited. He did not know why, but he felt that this was a bit strange. Was the endless blood sea pattern just outside? If that was the case, did it not mean that any personal disciple of the Ghost King sect who came in could get the endless blood sea map? Longao felt that this was not so simple. But since things had come to this point, Longao did not say anything. Just like that, Aoshue successfully communicated with the endless blood sea pattern. Then, she was about to reach out and take the endless blood sea pattern. But at this moment, several red lights suddenly shot out from the endless blood sea pattern. They were so fast that Aoshue did not even have time to react. But at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of Aoshue. He was hit by several red lights and spat out blood. His whole body flew backward. Aoshue was shocked. She hurriedly chased after him and caught Longao in midair. "Why did you do this?" At this moment, Aoshue was completely moved. She never thought that Longao would risk his life to save her and almost lose his life. Longao was shot by several blood rays. Longao was very weak, but his face was very firm. He said, "No matter if you are willing or not, I will still say the same thing. I will be responsible. From now on, you are my Longao's woman. No matter what, I will stand in front of you, even if we meet with life and death." Hearing this, Aoshue stared at Longao, who was lying in her arms. Suddenly, Aoshue began to cry loudly. Women were emotional creatures. No matter how strong she was, Aoshue was still a woman. Chapter 100. Heroes have a weakness for beauties. On the other hand, beauties sometimes have a weakness for heroes as well. For a man who would die for her and take away her virginity, what else could she do? Sitting up with difficulty, Longao shrugged helplessly and said, "Aoshue, you're too reckless. The endless blood sea map is not as simple as it looks." Nodding, Aoshue's attitude had unknowingly undergone a drastic change. Even Aoshue herself did not notice it. She said, "I know. Just now, my bloodline communicated with the pattern. I thought I could get the endless blood sea map, but I didn't expect it." Aoshue did not continue speaking. There was a trace of fear in her eyes. "Brat, what should I do?" She was still a brat. Perhaps in Aoshue's eyes, the words brat represented a different meaning. Longao did not think too much about it. After resting for a while, he felt much better. He stood up and did not dare to approach the endless blood sea map on the wall. He began to observe the treasure of the Ghost King sect from afar. Until now, Longao still could not figure out why Aoshue's bloodline had communicated with the pattern but was still attacked by the endless blood sea map. Just now, when he tried to resist, Longao was shocked to find that with his current strength, he could not resist the blood light at all. "Aoshue, is there any legend about the endless blood sea map that you have not noticed?" After thinking for a while, Aoshue of course understood the meaning of Longao's words. She said, "According to the rumors in the sect, the endless blood sea map left by the ancestor is a combination of the bloodlines of millions of people. It is the most vicious and vicious weapon." Before Aoshue finished speaking, Longao waved his hand and said, "I know what's going on." Aoshue's face lit up. She asked impatiently, "What's going on?" "The endless blood sea map on the wall should be a taboo set by the ancestor of the Ghost King sect. Even with the bloodline communication, it is not easy to get the endless blood sea map." Creak, creak, creak. Suddenly, Longao heard the little guy in his arms squeaking. He was very curious, because under normal circumstances, Longchong would not squeak. Could it be that something had happened? Longao didn't hide anything from Aoshue. He carried the Longchong out of his arms and listened to the Longchong's incessant squeaking. At the same time, he communicated with Long Fu. He wanted to ask Long Fu what the Longchong's incessant squeaking meant. Little snake? A little snake that could squeak? Surprised, Aoshue looked at the little snake in Longao's arms and asked curiously, "Brat, what is this? Dragon whelp? Dragon cub?" Aoshue obviously didn't believe it, but seeing that Longao didn't seem to be joking, she asked in surprise, "Brat, is this really a dragon whelp?" Aoshue had never seen such a special colossal dragon infant before. She seemed to have thought of something and had an expression of sudden realization. She said, I nearly forgot. You are a disciple of the Dragon Clan's branch. You can become a dragon cultivator. Long family was one of the strongest powers in the Tianwu continent. Especially dragon warriors, they were one of the most terrifying powers in the world. Longao, as far as I know, the Long family has countless branches and is divided into 9 ranks. Only those of the 3rd rank and above can enter the Dragon Valley to choose a partner and become a dragon warrior. And the probability is 1 in 10,000. You are only a 6th rank disciple. How is it possible? Longao smiled. He naturally understood what Aoshue meant. Wait a moment. Longao didn't have time to care about Aoshue. Through Longfu's words, he already knew what Longcheng wanted. She wanted to absorb the power of the endless blood sea diagram. What was going on? Aoshue, I want to discuss something with you. This little thing wants to absorb the power of the endless blood sea diagram. No, there is no room for discussion. Aoshue did not even think about it and directly refused. Longao wasn't surprised by Aoshue's refusal. No matter what, the endless blood sea diagram was the treasure of the Ghost King sect. It would be strange if Aoshue agreed, but Longao really couldn't bear to refuse her request. On one side was Xiao Chong, and on the other was his woman. How should he choose? Brat, can it really absorb the power of the endless blood sea diagram? Longao nodded. In fact, he didn't know whether the little thing could absorb it or not. But since Longcheng said so, it shouldn't be wrong. Aoshue thought for a while and finally said, You can let it try. If it can, I choose to compromise. Aoshue. Without giving Longao any chance to speak, Aoshue said, Forget it. With my strength, I can't take away the endless blood sea diagram. What's more, whether we can leave alive is still unknown. Instead of staying here for nothing, let it take advantage of us. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew that Aoshue chose to compromise mainly for his sake. Although she didn't say it explicitly, her actions had already shown everything. Xiao Chong, don't be reckless. Do what you can. After putting Longcheng on the ground, a shadow flashed, and the little thing's body disappeared on the spot, shooting toward the endless blood sea diagram. Just as Longao and Aoshue looked on in shock, Longcheng's body was already lying on the diagram. The endless blood sea diagram didn't attack Longcheng? Both Longao and Aoshue were extremely shocked. This was because they had seen with their own eyes how terrifying the power of the bloody light shot out by the endless blood sea diagram was. The two, who didn't have confidence, didn't know how to feel when they saw the little thing ignore the diagram. Comparisons were odious. Longcheng lay on the diagram, emitting a strange power that directly covered the entire diagram. At this time, the endless blood sea in the endless blood sea diagram was rapidly absorbed by the little thing. The speed was extremely fast. Longao, tell me honestly, where did you get this little thing? Longao was not a fool. Of course, he understood the meaning of Aoshue's words. Without hiding anything, he told the story of how he entered the Dragon Valley. After listening, Aoshue said, You're really bold. You actually dared to enter the Dragon Valley. If the high-ranking Long family knows that you entered the Dragon Valley, you'll be in big trouble. Nodding, Longao said, I know. This time, the little thing absorbed the power of the endless blood sea diagram. It's causing you trouble. All right, don't take advantage of me. He shrugged helplessly. Just like that, the two of them stared at Longcheng in front of them and continued to absorb the power of the endless blood sea diagram. Time passed bit by bit. After an unknown amount of time, Aoshue cried out in surprise. She pointed at the little fellow on the diagram and exclaimed, The little thing is starting to grow. Chapter 101. It grew? Looking at Xiao Chong, who had been absorbing the endless blood sea map for an hour, Longao seemed to be a little surprised. Sure enough, Longcheng, who was originally in the form of a small snake, began to grow thick black dragon scales at this moment, almost the same as the fire dragon that Long Mao had obtained. Sure enough, Xiao Chong was really a mutant divine dragon, but before the transformation, it was just like a small snake. But now, the small snake had transformed into a small dragon, and Longao was really looking forward to seeing how powerful Xiao Chang was after the transformation. Brat, what is the origin of this little thing of yours? How could Longao not know the meaning of Ao Shue's words? Not to mention her, even he himself did not know the origin of this little fellow. However, there was one thing that Longao was very sure of. The origin of this little fellow that he had obtained was definitely not simple. Before Longao could speak, the transformed Long Chong suddenly let out a dragon's roar that resounded through the stone room. Then, a powerful dragon's breath emanated from Long Chong's body, directly shrouding the entire stone room. What a terrifying power! Longao also sensed how powerful the aura that Long Chong was emitting now was. Long Fu had already said before that Long Chong's physique was almost exactly the same as his, which was the desolate physique. This physique was very powerful, but it required a lot of power. If it was cultivated under normal circumstances, the desolate physique would definitely be the first useless physique, and he was a living example. However, Longao was very clear that the power contained in the Endless Blood Sea Map, the treasure of the Ghost King sect, was definitely no small matter. Otherwise, Long Chong would not have been able to transform into this after only absorbing it for an hour. For some reason, Longao had a feeling that this little guy's strength seemed to have surpassed his at this moment. Once again letting out a loud dragon's roar, the little guy's body grew bigger and bigger. After 3 roars, from the previous small snake shape, it had transformed into a small dragon more than 2 meters long. Its whole body was pure black, and there were small spots of light. Long Chong was not much different from an ordinary dragon, but there was one difference, and that was that Long Chong had a single horn on its forehead, which looked extremely strange. At the same time that the dragon's roar sounded, Long Chong had returned to Long Ao's arms, but now Long Chong's body was 2 meters long, and it was impossible for it to continue resting in Long Ao's arms. However, what made Long Ao feel incomparably shocked was that Long Chong, who had already transformed into a 2-meter-long giant dragon, suddenly shrank his body. In the blink of an eye, he had already returned to his previous appearance. After putting Long Chong in his arms, Long Ao looked at the Endless Blood Sea Map hanging on the stone wall. There was no need to touch it. Long Ao already knew that at this moment, the Endless Blood Sea Map had become a useless map, and it was no longer the powerful superweapon it used to be. Aoshue, I'm sorry. Long Ao felt a little guilty. No matter what, the Endless Blood Sea Map was the treasure of the Ghost King sect, but now it had been completely absorbed by Long Chong. It's the same for the big one, and it's the same for the small one. Long Ao shrugged helplessly. Things had already come to this point. Long Ao did not continue to be entangled in this matter because the most important thing now was to think of all kinds of ways to leave this place. Before Long Ao could speak, Aoshue had already asked, "What should we do now?" "Of course we have to find the exit. You look, I'm going to rest." Seeing Aoshue sitting cross-legged on the bed and began to rest, Long Ao was depressed. He had no choice but to turn around and look for the exit. Long Ao did not look for the exit blindly. He went directly to the Endless Blood Sea Map and stared at it. The Endless Blood Sea Map is useless. It's useless to look at it again. Ignoring Ao Shui, Long Ao stretched out his hand and took down the Endless Blood Sea Map that had been scrapped. As expected, a black passageway that was neither big nor small appeared behind the map. "Aoshue, I'm leaving now." Aoshue had already opened her eyes. She did not give Long Ao a chance at all. She shot out and came to the black passage, and without thinking, she went in. Looking at the disappearing buttocks, Long Ao smiled. Aoshue looked unreasonable, but she was actually a very cute girl. The two entered the black passage, one in front and one behind. They walked forward step by step. The black passage was so dark that they could not see their fingers in front of them. At first glance, it was really scary and strange. Stinking brat, are you a man or not? You let a girl walk in front, but you walk behind. I despise you." Long Ao, who was walking carefully with full concentration, almost stumbled when he heard Aoshue's complaint. He looked at Aoshue in a daze, not knowing what to say for a moment. Who did he offend? Turning her head to take a look, Ao Shui suddenly laughed out loud. She said with a smile, "Stinky brat, let me tell you this. You are not allowed to spread what happened today. Otherwise, I will not let you off." "I wouldn't dare." Suddenly, a ray of light appeared in the black passage. The two were overjoyed and quickened their steps. After a while, the two successfully left the black passage and appeared in the forest. Thunder Forest. Longao was completely sure that the two of them had successfully left the cave. However, when they turned their heads to look at the black passage, they found that the passage had disappeared. How mysterious. Longao smiled and said, "There are about 5 days until the thunder battle. I'm going to participate in the thunder battle. What about you?" The thunder battle would last for 10 days. Longao calculated the time and found that the two of them had been in the cave for more than 4 days. Half of the thunder battle had passed. Therefore, in the next 5 days, Longao was going to get the spirit token. No matter what, he had to be in the top 3 of the thunder battle. Ao Shui thought for a while, and her voice suddenly turned cold. She said, "Who are you to me? What right do you have to control me? You're really interesting. Stinking brat, I'll tell you again. Don't tell anyone about what happened today. Otherwise, I'll kill you." Stinking brat. Before she left, Ao Shui did not forget to scold him. Longao stood there dumbfounded. He did not know what was wrong with Ao Shui. She seemed to change every now and then. When was Ao Shui's true face? A woman's heart is like a needle at the bottom of the ocean. Longao sighed helplessly. He did not chase after Ao Shui because he knew that he was not qualified to talk about love now. The first thing he had to do was to stand out in the thunder battle and obtain more spirit tokens. According to Lu Feng and Hao Chao, as long as he could get a good ranking in the thunder battle, even the Thunder Royal family would not do anything to him. More importantly, they would not do anything to the Long family behind him. Chapter 102. He had a head of white hair and was dressed in black. His resolute face was filled with vicissitudes of life. Longao left the cave and dashed through the thunder forest. Whenever he saw a target, he would not show any mercy. He would immediately kill them and snatch their soul tokens. Pung! Just as Longao was about to rest, he suddenly sensed an earth-shattering sound coming from the front. Out of curiosity, he immediately dashed over. Kwang Ao was surrounded by 3 people and was already covered in wounds. His face was pale and his body was on the verge of collapsing. It was unknown when he would collapse. "Kwang Ao, I'm here to help you." Long Ao truly treated Kwang Ao as a friend. Seeing his friend in trouble, how could he not help? Before Long Ao arrived, the horrifying saber light had already arrived. The 3 were forced back by Long Ao's saber light. They did not continue their attack and chose to stop. "Brother Long, many thanks." Domineering arrogance endured his wobbly body and held on, not falling to the ground. Seeing Kwang Ao in such a state, Long Ao's face turned extremely gloomy. He looked at the 3 people before him and asked, "Who are you 3? How dare you injure my friend? And who are you? Evolved cultivator?" Sensing that this youth was actually an evolved cultivator, the 3 of them were shocked. However, Yibing and the other 2 did not think much of him. They said coldly, "Thunder Nation Guardian Hall's Yibing, Du Jianhao, and Du Jianhao." Thunder Nation Guardian Hall? Hearing their identities, Long Ao was also shocked. After all, he did not get along well with the 3rd prince of the Thunder Royal family. "Brat, who are you?" Scarlet Fire Town's Long Ao. Scarlet Fire Town's Long Ao? Hearing Long Ao's self-introduction, the 3 of them had strange expressions. Yibing suddenly smiled coldly and said, "So you are Long Ao. We have been searching high and low for you. Brat, are you going to kill yourself? Or do you want me to help you? Are the 3 of you out of your minds?" Long Ao had already guessed that these 3 people were related to the 3rd prince, Zhao Hao. It seemed that Zhao Hao would not let him off. Trouble had already arrived. "Long Ao, do you really think you can leave the Thunder Forest alive after offending the 3rd prince?" "Humph. Long Ao, don't say I didn't warn you." Not only did the third prince issue a kill order for you in the Thunderbolt Kingdom Defender Hall, but all of the Kingdom Defender Halls in the 32 kingdoms. Do you really think you can avoid that? Kill order? Longao did not doubt Zhao Hao's words at all. After all, Zhao Hao was the third prince of the Thunder Empire. The 32 kingdoms were all vassal states of the Thunder Empire. If Zhao Hao issued a kill order to him, would the members of the National Guard Hall of the 32 kingdoms refuse? If it was just Zhao Hao alone, no one would bother with him. However, the problem was that Zhao Hao had used the Thunder Empire's name to issue a kill order. Even if the 32 kingdoms were unwilling, they definitely wouldn't offend the Thunder Empire because of this. The total number of people in the 32 kingdoms plus the Thunder Empire had reached more than 300 people, which was the so-called 300-plus Xiantian realm martial artists. Zhao Hao really thought highly of him. An ordinary person would not be able to withstand such a kill order. But would Longao be afraid? With a cold snort, Longao said indifferently, I don't care about the kill order. I only know that you have injured my friend. You will all die. It had to be said that domineering arrogant strength was indeed formidable. In just 5 days in the Thunder Forest, he had broken through to the fusion realm from the one-line sky peak. He could even fight 1 against 3 for such a long time. Ha ha ha, with just you? Hearing Longao's words, it was as if they had heard the funniest joke in the world. The 3 of them laughed crazily. At this time, the 3 of them attacked at the same time. They were all evolved martial artists in the National Guard of the Thunder National Guard Hall. The 3 of them were usually aloof and did not put Longao in their eyes. It was precisely because of their arrogance that the battle was affected. In order to end the battle quickly, Longao used the soul-subduing seal as soon as he attacked. Then, the wild blood saber in his hand fiercely slashed out. Yellow Spring's 9 strikes and Frozen Heart Devour instantly superimposed, and a terrifying saber light ruthlessly chopped down. After evolving to the peak, the power of the soul-subduing seal increased again. It silently invaded the bodies of the 3. Before the 3 of them could react, the soul-subduing seal had already begun to corrode their souls. Shocked, the 3 of them immediately began to circulate their powers to resist this mysterious and strange power. However, it was precisely because of this that when the terrifying saber light slashed down, the 3 of them did not even have the chance to retaliate before they were killed with a single slash. Killing 3 evolved warriors with a single slash? Swallowing his saliva fiercely, Kwang Ao's face was filled with shock. He never thought that Longao's strength would be so strong that he could actually kill 3 evolved warriors with a single slash. What kind of concept was this? Kwang Ao clearly knew that with Longao's current strength, there was almost no one below the fusion realm who could be a match for him. Didn't this mean that Longao was the strongest person below the fusion realm? Brother Long, you're too strong. Longao only smiled. He had obtained 10 soul tokens from the 3 of them. Other than the soul tokens that belonged to the 3 of them, the remaining 7 soul tokens should be the soul tokens that the 3 of them obtained from killing other warriors. Brother Long, what the 3 of them said just now is not false. I have also received news that the 3rd prince of the Thunder Empire, Zhao Hao, has issued a kill order for you. Not only the Thunder Empire, but also all the warriors in the other 32 kingdoms will want to kill you. It is said that as long as one obtains your head, Zhao Hao will give a great reward. With a smile, Longao chose to ignore the kill order. Kwang Ao, I already know about this matter. Regardless of whether Zhao Hao gave the order to kill or not, to me, it only means one thing. No matter who offends me, they will have to pay the price, including the 3rd prince, Zhao Hao. Kwang Ao understood Brother Long's domineering character and forceful nature very well. Because of this, he did not say much. After thinking for a while, Kwang Ao said, Brother Long, I am also participating in the Thunder Battle this time. I knew that I would definitely meet you. We are fated to meet. Yes, we are fated to meet. Brother Long, since we have met, why don't we participate in the Thunder Battle together? Waving his hand, Longao naturally would not agree. This did not mean that he was unwilling to participate in the Thunder Battle together with Kwang Ao. After all, Kwang Ao and Hao Chao's position in his heart was not ordinary. The reason why Longao did not agree was very simple. It was because Zhao Hao had issued a kill order for him. If Kwang Ao really participated in the thunder battle together with him, wouldn't Kwang Ao be killed everywhere? As a friend, he would definitely not do that. This was a friend. Chapter 103. For domineering arrogance safety, Long Ao refused directly. Brother Long, don't you treat me as a friend? Shaking his head, Long Ao didn't tell the truth. Instead, he said, domineering arrogant, I like to act alone, so I'm sorry. No matter what, Zhao Hao had already given the order to kill him. The Thunder Empire and the nearly 300 Xiantian martial artists from the 32 kingdoms would all come to kill him. If egotistical were to stay with him, wouldn't he be like a fish in the moat that would be implicated? Looking at Long Ao, who had disappeared, domineering arrogance said to himself, I must be friends with such a person. Shortly after leaving, Long Ao met some old acquaintances, several people from the Nebula Guardian Hall. Luo Cheng, Mao Feng, Tong Bo, Hao Jiangjun, Yirong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan. Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. Long Ao? Get lost. Long Ao was too lazy to care about these 7 people. He had already left the Guardian Hall. He didn't want to have any relationship with these 7 people at all. If it weren't for Ouyang Fei, not only Yu Wei, but even these 7 people wouldn't give up easily. Luo Cheng snorted coldly and said in an extremely unpleasant tone, Long Ao, the Thunder Empire has issued a kill order for you. If we can kill you, we will get a lot of things. When did the Nebula Guardian Hall become the Thunder Empire's henchmen? Ha ha ha, Long Ao. Our Nebula royal family is originally a vassal kingdom of the Thunder Empire. Since the Thunder Empire issued a kill order, we have to execute it. What do you think? Long Ao understood that Luo Cheng and the others were here to kill him. There was no need to guess at all. If there was no accident, when the third Prince Zhao Hao issued a kill order, the reward was quite considerable. Cut the crap. If you want to fight, let's fight. Long Ao, I have to admit that you are also a top figure, but you don't know what's good for you, so you are destined to die. Luo Cheng waved his hand. Immediately after, the 6 of them swarmed forward. The combined might of 6 evolvers was no small matter. Even if one's cultivation had already broken through to the peak of the evolver realm, it was still not an easy task to kill 6 people in a short period of time. Not to mention, there was also a fusion expert on the side. Once he was held back, the result would be very troublesome. Immediately after, both sides rushed out. In the blink of an eye, both sides were already engaged in a fierce battle. After 3 moves, Long Ao's blood-sucking blade had already slashed out fiercely. Long Ao's cultivation had already broken through the peak evolution realm, and his strength was no longer the same as before. But no matter how it was said, the 6 of them were still evolved martial artists. At the same time that the soul-subduing seal was used, Long Ao grasped blood-drinking Wild Saber and slashed out with the third move of blood-drinking's 8 moves, Raging Flame Sea. The 8 styles of blood-drinking. The first style was Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. The second style was Heart-Devouring Ice. The third style was Raging Flame Sea. Ever since his cultivation had broken through to the evolution boundary, Long Ao had been secretly cultivating the third style of the blood-drinking 8 styles, Raging Flame Sea. Now it just so happened to come in handy. At the same time, the raging sea of flames and the shocking saber light instantly turned into countless blood rays, like a sea of blood, rolling over each other. The 6 of them were using all their strength to resist the soul-subduing seal's erosion of their souls. They did not expect Long Ao to use such a powerful move. Endless sea of blood, Raging Flame Sea. The raging flame sea covered the sky and suppressed the earth, instantly enveloping the 6 of them. Then, one after another, miserable screams rose and fell, and the 6 of them fell down. Long Ao naturally would not have any mercy. He came in front of the 6 of them and took away all the soul orders on their bodies. Then, he stored their souls into the dragon seal space. No matter what, the 6 of them were evolved martial artists. Once their souls were refined by the blood pool, they could be refined into powerful soul slaves. At that time, he would also have a good helper. As for the one-line heavenly soul slaves that he had refined before, they had already been put into the blood pool to be refined again. Longao, I will tear you to pieces. Seeing the other party kill the 6 of them in one move, Luo Cheng was shocked. But what was the result? Longao did not choose to meet force with force with force. After smoothly killing the 6 of them, he immediately turned around and quickly left. In order to not be caught by Luo Cheng, he slashed out with his saber. Raging flames see, endless flames came out. Having seen the power of the other party's saber light with his own eyes, Luo Cheng did not dare to meet force with force. After dodging, he found that the other party had disappeared without a trace. Inside the Thunder Forest, in front of a secluded boulder, Long Ao had already told Long Fu to refine the souls of the 6 people into soul slaves at the fastest speed. Once the refining was successful, he would have 6 more bodyguards by his side. Flipping through the soul orders that he had obtained, Long Ao roughly counted. There were a total of 49 soul orders. According to the calculation of more than 400 people, he had obtained about 1/8 of the soul orders. He had full confidence that 5 days later, when the Thunder battle ended, he would definitely be able to enter the top 3. Not continuing to seize the soul orders, Long Ao sat cross-legged on the ground and began to cultivate. His cultivation had already broken through to the peak of the evolution realm. He was only one step away from breaking through to the fusion realm. However, it was this one step that was exceptionally terrifying. Just like this, Long Ao cultivated while waiting for Long Fu to refine the soul slaves. In the blink of an eye, 4 days had passed. There was only 1 day left for the Thunder battle. In other words, at noon tomorrow, the Thunder battle would officially end. After 4 days of cultivation, Long Ao's cultivation still did not have the slightest progress. It seemed that his desolate saint body still needed a huge amount of power to continuously enter it. Otherwise, it would be extremely difficult to have a breakthrough. The only advantage of the desolate saint body was that once he broke through to the next realm, his strength would be much stronger than a martial artist of the same level. This was also the real reason why Long Ao had always been able to kill opponents of a higher level. Then, he stood up and stretched his body. Luo Cheng, I will give you a surprise. With a sneer, Long Ao's body had already rushed out. At this moment, the Thunder battle had reached its most intense moment. Out of more than 400 people, less than 40 people had survived. They had lost a lot of time. No matter who survived this battle, there would only be one final winner, and that was the Thunder Empire. The Thunder Empire held the Thunder battle to continuously weaken the members of the National Guard Hall of the 32 Kingdoms. The 32 Kingdoms were well aware of the Thunder Empire's conspiracy, but there was nothing they could do. The remaining 40 people all wanted to enter the top 10, especially the top 3. Therefore, the remaining day was also the most intense time of the battle. No matter what, those who could survive were all powerful Xiantian martial artists. Each of them had at least 10 soul orders on them. As long as they killed one person, they would be able to obtain more than 10 soul orders. This kind of thing, why not? Therefore, in the last remaining day, everyone became crazy. Although Luo Cheng was incomparably shocked, he did not hold back at all. Fighting 1 against 6, Luo Cheng had already engaged in a fierce battle with the 6 soul slaves. In the blink of an eye, they had already fought for 10 rounds. There was no clear winner. Long Ao didn't stay idle and directly joined the battle. Long Ao wielded the wild blood-drinking saber, slash after slash, slash after slash, instantly using the first 3 moves of the 8 moves of blood drinking. The first move was Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, the second move was Ice Seal Devouring, and the third move was Raging Sea of Flames. The third move, Raging Sea of Flames, was very powerful. After the first 3 moves of blood drinking were overlaid, the power wasn't as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Soul Slaves. Until now, Long Ao still hadn't figured out what was going on with the soul slaves that Long Fu had refined. This was because from start to finish, Long Fu hadn't told him anything about soul slaves. Long Ao's understanding of soul slaves was very limited. First, soul slaves were much stronger than the main body. Second, soul slaves had an undying body. No matter how they were beaten, they couldn't be killed. Because of this, although the 6 soul slaves weren't as strong as Luo Cheng, they relied on their undying bodies and were like moths to a flame. The more he fought, the more alarmed he became. Luo Cheng discovered that the 6 people were simply undying. He already had thoughts of retreating. He knew very well that although he was stronger than the 6 of them, the 6 of them had an undying body. If this continued, would he be able to take advantage of them? If Luo Cheng wanted to leave, would Long Ao agree? With the help of the 6 soul slaves, Long Ao didn't show the slightest mercy. While Luo Cheng was focused on dealing with the 6 soul slaves, Long Ao silently used the soul-suppressing seal. The soul-suppressing seal was a perfect hit. There was not a single time where it failed. This time was no exception. The soul-suppressing seal quietly invaded Luo Cheng's body and began to erode his soul. Under normal circumstances, Luo Cheng would definitely be able to drive away this soul-eroding power. However, the current situation was completely different. Long Ao simply wouldn't give Luo Cheng any chance. Each move was stronger than the previous one. Each move was vicious. Luo Cheng's soul was being eroded by the soul-suppressing seal. Outside, he was being tightly entangled by the 6 soul slaves. Long Ao grasped this rare opportunity. The bloodthirsty broadsword in his hand had already fiercely chopped out. With an inconceivable angle, the bloodthirsty broadsword accurately chopped out from the waist, cutting Luo Cheng in half. This is impossible. Impossible. Until the moment of his death, Luo Cheng still couldn't figure out why the 6 people who were already dead were actually alive and standing in front of him. Moreover, they were helping Long Ao kill him. This world was just this fair. It wouldn't give you a chance to regret. Long Ao came in front of Luo Cheng and said in a very cold voice, "You brought this upon yourself. You can't blame others." Seeing Luo Cheng breathe his last, Long Ao took out all the soul orders from Luo Cheng's arms. He turned to look at the 6 soul slaves beside him. He seemed to sigh. Evolved soul slaves were much stronger than first-line heavenly soul slaves. Coupled with the immortal body, the 6 soul slaves were simply too powerful. According to his own strength, with the help of the 6 soul slaves, he could even kill Luo Cheng. Clap, clap, clap. Clap, clap, clap. At this time, a young man appeared in front of him. His face was cold and his body was emitting waves of killing intent. Looking at Long Ao, he sneered and said, "Long Ao, your growth really surprised me. You're at the peak of evolution and can even kill a fusion warrior. Not bad, not bad." The young man who had just appeared was none other than Long Ao. He had successfully obtained the fire dragon as a partner. Moreover, he had an opportunity to raise his cultivation to the next level. He directly reached the fusion realm from the evolution realm. It was precisely because of this that Long Ao dared to swagger out when he saw Long Ao kill Luo Cheng. Long Ming. Long Ao was also a little surprised. He never thought that he would meet Long Ming in this place. He sneered and snorted. "You're just a loser." War God Sect Group 217-135-300. Welcome to the group. If you have anything to say, just say it in the group. Chapter 105. Just a defeated opponent? Haha. Hearing this, Long Ming seemed to have heard the funniest thing in the world. His face was full of disdain and contempt. "Long Ao, do you know why I entered the Thunder Forest this time? To kill me." "That's right, Long Ao. You're indeed very smart, but your intelligence ends here today." "You?" Long Ao was also a little surprised because he could clearly sense that Long Ming was no longer the one-line sky martial artist from back then, but the current fusion martial artist. They were both fusion martial artists, but their strength was completely different. When they entered the Dragon Valley together, Long Ming had obtained a fire dragon egg. Long Ao knew that if nothing went wrong, the dragon egg Long Ming obtained should have hatched and grown. Otherwise, he had just killed a fusion martial artist. Was Long Ming a fool? Among the dragons, The level of the fire dragon was considered very high. It was because of this that Longao became slightly serious. However, things had already come to this point. No matter what happened, he had to fight with Long Ming. Longao, are you afraid? Afraid my ass. If you want to fight, then fight. If not, scram. He had to admit that Longao was indeed domineering. Hearing this, Long Ming's eyes gradually turned cold. Then, a terrifying flame aura spread and a 3-meter-long fiery red dragon suddenly appeared. Looking at the fire dragon beside Long Ming, Longao was not afraid at all. In fact, Longao knew very well that the reason Long Ming dared to summon the fire dragon was because this place was secluded. Otherwise, Long Ming would never dare to summon the fire dragon even if he had 10,000 guts. However, he and Long Ming had entered the Dragon Valley to hide it from their Long family. Once the Long family found out, the two of them would be sentenced to death and would definitely be hunted down by the Long family. It was because of this that neither Long Ming nor he could easily summon their dragon companions. Once the Long family found out about this, the consequences would be unimaginable. With a cold smile, Long Ming asked, Longao, where's your little snake? With an enlightened expression, Long Ming said, I almost forgot. Your little snake is too ugly. Not to mention you. I believe that no matter who you gave it to, you would choose to give it up. Ha ha ha, Longao, I won't look down on you. Idiot. Longao, I'll show you the difference today. With that said, Long Ming and the fire dragon had already rushed out. They did not say anything else. When the man and the dragon worked together, their power was earth-shattering, especially the fire dragon. Putting aside its strength, just its aura alone made Longao feel suffocated. This was his first time fighting with a giant dragon. Longao was also extremely excited.